Alright, welcome everyone to another technical difficulty stream, as always. But we are excited to have a black... What do you mean did I actually start it, Trez? Sorry, Dobby. Do intro. Must figure out technical difficulties. Stream is actually live.
We're currently experiencing some technical difficulties. Please stand by. We appreciate your patience in these matters. We appreciate Trez working in the background to help fix things for us. We appreciate you, Trez. While we're doing difficulties, if you are just joining us, we can mention, if you're not familiar with what bingo is, and you're most used to just trying to beat Ganon, bingo is a different way to play the game, where you are given when you start a list of 25 goals to complete, and these can be a variety of tasks, things that are like collecting maps, collecting compasses, defeating certain dungeons, etc. It can be a wide range of things. And so your goal is just to go around the world and complete these tasks. Afterwards, you do not have to go and beat Ganon. Time just ends once you complete the tasks on the bingo board. There are different ways you can go and complete the goals. The one they are doing here uses, they're going to be doing a double blackout. So amongst all of the players, each square will have to be completed twice by any player. And Shadow, yes, Rando Bingo uses its own card. They have actually 3 different generators specifically for item randomizer. There's 2 normal ones, that one that's used to make row by row boards, one that's used to make blackout boards. So your goal is to complete all 25. And then there's a short randomizer board that's a 4x4 grid designed to be blackout as well. That one can also be used for rows as well if you desire. These goals vary slightly. They are based on the goals that you might find on vanilla bingo, but they are changed in order to be better suited for randomizer. Notably, none of the goals that you'll have on these boards will require glitches, and they are designed so that you aren't able to lock yourself out of them. So in vanilla, you might have goals saying, for instance, 4 unused keys in forest. You will not have that here. It will always be collect X keys in dungeon. And so the seeds are generated separate. The bingo cards do not in any way impact the seed and vice versa. However, you are able to utilize bingo hints, and the bingo hints can be used can make use of the goals that are on a specific board. So you can make the bingo hints specifically for a board, but that does not change the generation. It just changes what kind of hints you end up with. The other factor that you may have seen in the title is we are using a DDR rule set here. If you're not familiar with the DDR rule set, it is a glitched rule set designed to be between standard and no iron warp that allows a lot of quality of life glitches while banning the most powerful glitches in the game. Notably for this particular case, they're going to, if they have to do any goals that are in dungeons, they are going to need to enter dungeons more or less the intended way. And if they need to beat bosses, they are going to have to find those boss keys and open the doors. The other things you won't see here, you won't see any item manipulation, you won't see any wrong warping, you won't see any bomb puffer, and you won't see any equip swap, much to the chagrin of some players. We also have a cycling list of players. So we have several different... I think altogether we have 5 different players. So they're going to be cycling through, and you'll see different lineups of what they're up to. And we should also, in theory, be able to see the board. Oh, and looks like you're off. So that is a good start.
So I guess we can read off the board for now while Trez is working for it. And interestingly enough, I guess this means that Nagi started or got ice arrows in Mido's house. So they're one of the ones not on stream. But our goals for today are collecting ice arrows, 4 compasses, the long shot, 1 small key in each adult dungeon to defeat Bongo Bongo, bomb bag 40, 20 Deku stick or 20 Deku stick capacity or better, all 4 Wasteland Colossus area skulls, nice, a slingshot, 3 tunics, 10 songs, a fairy bow, gold scale, a lot of different skull things. Kokiri forest skulls, 5 different small keys in Water Temple that has good synergy with 1 small key in each adult dungeon. All 5 skulls in Spirit. Forest Temple boss key, Monk S. Forest Wind, double magic, 7 maps. My favorite goal, 3 swords and 3 shields. Buy a magic bean for 50 rupees. All 4 skulls in Jabu, 4 medallions, and 30 Deku nut capacity or better. Interesting.
We've got quite a good variety of stuff here. One thing to bear in mind is that for the upgrade ones, you are able to get better than what is said. So for instance, for Fairy Bow, that includes any level of bow, 30, 40, 50. Similarly, Fairy Slingshot as well, a number. And for 10 songs, you are able to get more than 10 songs. So here, I think Cubs typically uses the bingo hints, and I think goes with bingo sync specific ones, or bingo board specific ones. And so you'll see a lot of those in the form. They will directly tell you that an item is in a particular location. So they'll just give you the general area of where the item is. You'll see, I think they said hook shot was in trail, I think, something along those lines. And so that's telling him directly where you can find one of the copies of those items. One thing to keep in mind is that all of these players have generated their own seeds. That is partly so that players are able to play with whatever particular settings they want. If you want to do shop sanity, that's totally fine. If you want to use scrub sanity, that's totally up to you. Token sanity, etc. Those are all fine. And another reason is that also helps avoid cases of there being one really gross square for one particular player. You'll be able to kind of spread out, and people will be able to find different things. Notably, you can see a good example in this case that Nagi found ice arrows basically immediately, whereas the other players haven't.
Right, and TG, it is not the same seed. So one of the fun things about bingo is that everyone can. Datsu, are you watching Restream too? That's funny. Everyone can play whatever settings they want, although within the rule set. So typically we will kind of blur the lines to go to no item manipulation wrong warp and BK skip, but for some of these goals you do require a boss key, as we have seen today for the Forest Temple boss key. But you can put entrance randomizer, you can do random spawns, you can change your bridge requirement, you can change your lax requirement. I'd say the minimum is just to make sure that your maps and compasses are available somewhere, as we do have both a map and compass goal today. So if you did not have that shuffled, meaning that you start with them, that would be a goal that would not be able to be completed. But otherwise, it is free game to do whatever you please.
If you are willing to try out, there is a bingo preset that is compatible with all the goals. If you want even more freedom than that, you can check the, I think it's pinned in DDR discussion, I think. One of the spots has a pinned Plando sheet that you can use that has basically the bare minimum that will work for bingo. And then you can play around with a bunch of other settings.
So now that I can actually pay attention to this, what have I missed? All I see is Datsu and Damaku are in Deku. And Cubs is waiting for time of day. Super exciting. Oh look, Fairy Bow, that's a goal!
And
Hopefully Datsu, you could tell them, yes, they marked their goal. Alright, preventing screen peeking would be a much larger concern in actual tournaments. Asder, yes it would, and it is banned. So for the tournament, good segue. The tournament that we could start scheduling we could start scheduling matches now, but not actually until Monday. No stream sniping, no watching streams. If we do, please check out the schedule. We will try as much as we can. But for this one, we're just doing a fun bingo. Where we're all in, actually pretty much everyone, I think actually everyone is in a voice channel in the DDR group section. So everyone is in a voice channel, we're all having a cooperative fun, and we're playing towards the same goal. And everyone give some love to Trez for trying to work out the technical difficulties of bingo. I kind of may have thrown him slightly under the bus by starting it early, which I didn't understand because there were too many people talking at the same time and I got very confused and concerned. But big love for Trez for at least having the bingo board on screen.
And yes, this is very much a co-op event. People are just kind of having fun together. Very much more a casual exhibition than any kind of real competition.
Yeah, everyone is trying to obtain the board goals. So yeah, TJ, we're allowed to have fun sometimes. That's also why strength. That's also why there are no trackers for this. Is because we're using a widescreen layout so that everyone can track themselves. As the only thing we really care about is the bingo board, and since there are 5 people participating. We need to have at least 2 players complete every single square on this board. That is the goal that we are looking to obtain today. And when we do play these seeds, it can range anywhere from 2.5 to 5 hours. Let's hope that it is on the shorter end. I would say it probably is, other than like some of the obscure items. Double magic may be hard, it depends on where it is. But yeah. Aster, I don't usually use a tracker either, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. The most important thing is to have the board. As long as you're marking goals, it's fine.
And the item tracker is really only for when we swap people in and out, so that we at least know what they have and don't have. Since everyone has different seeds, and it's not going to be the same every time. Okay, now that I am fully functional, the other reason that we wanted to do this community race is we wanted to talk more about the rule set. So Dobby, do you want to give in your best announcer voice, a brief explanation of what the Dungeon Door Requirement rule set is about?
Oh, specifically requesting advanced words. Okay. If you're here at the start, you'll hear the same spiel again, but DDR is a glitch rule set between No I Am Wrong and Standard that is designed to ban some of the most powerful glitches in the game, while allowing a lot more of quality of life glitches. Some of the glitches you will not see today are No I Am Wrong warp, so we are not seeing any item manipulation, we will not be seeing any wrong warping. We will also not be seeing any bomb hovering. We will not be seeing any equip swap, much to the chagrin of Dotso. Sorry, Dotso. However, some other requirements that they will have, in order to enter dungeons, they will have to do so in more or less the intended way. And in order to get to boss rooms, they will need to stand in front of the door and press A to open it. In the case of child, this is usually pretty easy. In the case of adult, this will require them to find the boss key. So in particular, if you see the Defeat Bongo Bongo square, they will be required to find the Shadow boss key for that. And unsurprisingly, for the Forest Temple boss key, they will be required to find a Forest Temple boss key.
So one of the common misconceptions about the DDR rule set is of all the glitches that Dobby had just mentioned, that they're ultimately required for beating a seed, and that is definitely not true. So one of the concerns that we have been hearing, and we wanted to kind of talk about as we all have fun playing Rando, is a DDR seed is essentially the exact same thing as standard. We use the same tricks and logic. It is all built on glitchless logic. And the only addition to our settings is useful cutscenes, and that is so that we could use the Forest Temple Po cutscene, where they bring the elevator down to the ground, to interrupt the cutscene using a bottle grab animation, and then run into the elevator so that the elevator will stay up throughout the entire temple. So, ultimately, the only difference between DDR and standard are our settings, and the ability to just go a little bit more outside into glitches. I know the settings may have not been the most fun for a lot of people because we do have a very early open Ganon Castle bridge with just one stone. But after this tournament, we will be opening up a survey within reason for settings, not rule set, .so. But we will be opening up settings discussion to see if there are any changes that will be made. Do we want to keep Ganon's Castle Bridge open? We'll open with one stone. Do we want to close it off, which I know Standard has been doing, by going to 4 medallions? Oh, look, a mirror shield. Team Never Buy a Shield wins again. And for the record, I actually rolled their seed. So that is completely within something I would roll. But either way, if you are currently playing Standard but interested in any type of DDR glitches or rule set, we could switch the Ganon Boss Key and Bridge requirement. I mean, that's a possibility. But if you're interested in branching out and trying out some of these seeds, definitely participate in our settings discussion, because we're looking for expanding our community, and we're always happy to have new people join and get interested in learning about glitches. I think all of us started, with the exception of some people, started with basically no glitch knowledge, and the only thing we were able to achieve is the Infinite Sword glitch, also known as ISG, which is the most helpful of anything. Just being able to use the Infinite Sword glitch to defeat your enemies is such a game changer and a quality of life, in my opinion. But if that's all you want to do, that's all you had to do. You can complete the seed using typical standard tricks, and it's all within logic. And logic is just a suggestion. Whether you choose to follow it is on your own. Look away, Shiro. Uh-oh, are you buying a shield? Oh no! Alright, I'm gonna have to swap out Dotso.
So yes, and we're mentioning that not only in terms of the DDR settings that we use, that you may be familiar with if you've been watching the ongoing DDR tournament, no glitches are required for that. It is completely, the logic is glitchless. That also applies here for their logic, as well as for the bingo boards. None of the goals you will see on any randomizer bingo boards require glitches.
Yeah, so that is a common misconception that all these glitches are required to beat the seed. So to go to kind of the next thing that we have been hearing and wanted to talk a little bit more about is, to be competitive, you need to know the most advanced glitches. And that honestly is not true. We have had several cross races between standard and DDR, because again, the logic is still the same, it's just your playstyle is different. And there have definitely been standard players that have defeated DDR players just by using the standard tricks and not using any glitches at all. Because in this type of setting, logic is very highly rewarded. There have definitely been seeds where the group that have just raced will come into the race results channel and be like, why was this way the hero? What is this scale required for? Why was fire arrows required as child for spirit key logic? I mean, we all have the same suffering with spirit logic. TJ, don't at me. I am not Ginger. I am not gonna take the test. But also, yeah, way the hero bottle in spirit has happened, and we're all completely flabbergasted about why. So this is completely independent of what other rule set you play. We just don't understand the actual randomizer sometimes. So if you do understand the randomizer, kudos to you. You're probably going to beat about like 80% of this pool, because that will help you obtain your items faster and defeat the seed.
So, if you are looking at this bingo board and wondering, for the DDR rule set, what kind of things are we looking at needing? Obviously, some of them are just going to be finding items wherever they may be in the world. Things like Bomb Bag 40 means that at least 2 players in this game will have to find all 3 bomb bags. Similarly, Longshot and Fairy Slingshot are just finding them in the world. The ones that we can precisely say what items they're going to need are going to be the obtain 1 small key in each adult dungeon. That means that they're going to have to enter Forest Temple, Fire Temple, Water Temple, Spirit Temple, and Shadow Temple. And for all of those, they will need a hookshot in order to enter Forest Temple. Fire Temple, they won't need anything. They'll need a hookshot in order to enter Water Temple. And then you won't need anything else in order to enter Water, but it can be helpful to have something like Iron Boots or a Scale, not required. For Shadow Temple, we might see a Child Shadow, which would be an interesting play. But otherwise, we might see our players get a Fire Source as well as Magic. And then for Spirit Temple, they just need a way to get into the desert region. As for some of the other squares that could be interesting, as we're mentioning, for Defeat Bongo Bongo, they will be required to find the Shadow Boss Key. And so we're still hoping for a Child Shadow. But also, thanks, Trez, for figuring out all the issues for us. Thanks, Trez.
Give some love to Trez. Thank you, Trez.
As for Defeat Bongo Bongo, they were going to have to find the Shadow Boss Key, wherever that might be in the dungeon, and then defeat Bongo. As for some other requirements that could be interesting, Water Temple could be 5 different small keys in Water Temple. That might be a challenging goal for some. There are some glitches that can be used to skip the Song of Time requirement, but in general, you don't need a whole lot to do that, but it can depend a lot on the placement. So those are some going to be interesting ones to look out for. Another one could be the Spirit Temple Skulls. Since normally you'd need obviously a second strength. We are not going to be seeing that today, I doubt. So that could be also one interesting one that we'll see here.
There is a lot of synergy between the amount of adult dungeons and that we have to get a small key in each of them anyway. And synergy is a word that, to be honest, until I had been watching Bingo, I have never heard before in an actual race setting. So I like to use it as much as possible because it's quite fun. But the board themselves is a lot about routing. Because for an item randomizer, the complexity is even more difficult in terms of, well, I don't know where my items are. When you're doing a vanilla bingo, you know where all your items are and you can route that appropriately. But for item randomizer, it's just do things as quickly as possible and hope that they're on the way to the next thing that you want to do. And Werewolf, to find Health Sanity, you can go on to the randomizer generator page. There is a preset for Health Sanity. And I can add a chat command for the bingo colors. But of our 5 players, Cubs' navy, Danmaku is blue, Datso is purple, and Nagi is green, Sage is red.
They're talking about they are all espresso. Yeah, we kind of have a little bit of a slow start in terms of the goals that people have found. Some of these are, as we're mentioning, you just have to run into them. So something like Ice Arrows is an interesting goal because it's one item that doesn't really lock anything, so you just kind of stumble into it. Other ones like Bomb Bag 40, you can use logic to try to figure out where it could be. Notably, in the case of the first one. And yes, altogether in playing the co-op today, there are 5 people. We just only have 3 on Restream because of physical limitations of Restream. They will be cycling out periodically. However, for right now, we have these three here. I'm kind of sad we don't have Greg on the board. Greg is actually a bingo goal. Best bingo goal. But we do have another need in terms of ice arrows on this board, so that is also acceptable. Looks like Cubs is routing in those Kokiri forest area skulls. Which is good play while you're here anyway.
There we go. No. Oh,
Nope.
shit, there already is a command like that.
Just spell it correctly with a U, and then there's no problems. There you go. Not in
He's
use.
gonna do bingo. We'll do that. No, I fixed it. Tries, I fixed it.
Oh,
It's
wow.
all good. Mweep? Was that? Nice. That's also a seed I would roll, is that I love the mweep sound. And who just got long shot?
It looks like Sage just got a long shot at, like, what, the 20-minute mark? That's a really nice.
Wow. That's impressive. Rando gonna rando.
Sometimes rando gonna rando.
And Damaku finding that Ganon's castle has a strength upgrade, so just needs to defeat one other dungeon, so that they can get access to Ganon's castle. No one restream has a hook shot.
Dotso getting absolutely shreked by these Deku Scrubs.
Yeah, don't die. This is not cutscene skipping.
Yeah, this is actually just for a cutscene skip, don't worry about it. Ooh, that's a nice Requiem. So that will allow access to Spirit Temple very early and very easily for the all 5 skulls in Spirit. We'll see, it looks like Danmaku is going for the early song route, which is a good play, in particular in this board where we have 10 songs. You basically need to go and do those songs pretty early, or you need to do those songs for that goal, so might as well do it early. Maybe it'll have some warp songs.
Was that something that said a bomb bag? A boss key. Colossus' left hand is a boss key. Unfortunately, that is not the boss key that you need. You need, well, you do need Forest, but not Spirit. Gold skill already?
Oh,
Wow.
Gold scale and long shot in the
Nice.
first 25 minutes. That's nice. Gold scale is another one that doesn't lock too much, and so it can be pretty tricky to find sometimes. There are basically only like 2 locations in the game it can't be.
I'm scared to switch our 3 runners, because what if when I switch them, they no longer get items, and then the people we have on stream now will get their items? I know. I'm like, are we watching the wrong people? No, just kidding. And Dotso was showing off the infinite sword glitch, like we were saying earlier. If that's all you do, that's all you need to do, in all honesty. It's the best way to farm sticks for free instead of farming money. It's significantly quicker.
Yeah, that saves money you can use to buy a shield. I'm getting kicked off Restream.
Yes, you are. But I also expected that. Yeah. I don't know if we should switch. I'm conflicted.
Boulder is conflicted.
I know.
But yes, as we were mentioning, Infinite Sword Glitch, if you are completely unfamiliar with glitches, what they're doing there is they're crouching and then doing a crouch stab and then interrupting that with some kind of action. Normally, that involves talking to NPCs or picking up bombs. In this particular case, you thought they were talking to Navi, asking about the Deku Scrubs. And so This causes the sword to be considered to be stabbing every single frame, which is what allows us to have such nice properties as being able to absolutely obliterate Phantom Ganon.
And suddenly, collapse music. I guess that's the music that Sage has. Yeah. And also, good timing. So Sage showing off another glitch that is pretty common in DDR, which is a Megaflip. So if Dobbs is still watching, I'm probably going to be beaten for my awful explanation of it. But what you are doing... Oh, boomerang. What you were doing during a Megaflip, which could be a neutral Megaflip, distance Megaflip. You could also do a Mega Side Hop. But you are rolling into the bomb explosion and using the shield to also push back and backflip, I think, within 2 frames. And essentially use that momentum to push yourself backward with the backflip. How'd I do? Or Dobby? How was that?
I mean, the specifics of how it works, I couldn't tell you. I just know that it involves the invincibility frames and the explosion. As to how it works...
Alright, I'm trying. I am trying.
And yeah, we do see Sage has found apparently quite a lot, as we already has a bomb bag, also hook shot, 3 shields, and boomerangs. That's pretty good.
Yay, that's a goal. Nice.
There we go.
Keeping Cubs on, we got a goal. And magic. Yeah, ETR in between there is magic.
Yeah. Double magic or like single magic?
Double magic is a goal on this board.
Yeah, the short explanation is bombs go brr.
Yes. Bombs have a lot of usefulness. When you're playing with DDR rules, having the bomb bag essentially means that you can do a significant amount of checks. But Sage Mark, Deku, Demonoff, Roars win because they are doing different seeds. So even though a couple of our players have already finished the Deku tree, they were not as blessed as Cubs to have a Roars win in Deku. However, Sage does seem to have magic, which is great.
Magic.
Oh, and a bomb bag!
Bomb. Nice.
You speak of it, it happens. So finding the bomb bag means that you can, if you had a shield, so you can reach Death Mountain Crater without hover boots or a hook shot. You can mega flip across that. You can also mega flip onto the crater heart piece, so in the center. So this is such useful techniques. You can get across Gerudo Valley Bridge as well with a Mega Side Hop and hover boots if you don't like hookshot extension. You can skip a lot of some of the dungeon areas with damage boosts using bombs as well. Again, all of these not required, but are just enhancements to try and use as little items as possible.
And yes, in particular, bombs are a very versatile thing that you'll probably see quite a lot. Obviously for their intended purposes sometimes, but a lot of times just for a lot of movement tech. Telling Sage he would like more bombs, which is indeed accurate. And you also see it as she was mentioning for Mega Flips, which allow you to completely skip all of the hover boot requirements in Shadow Temple, which is quite nice.
So TJ, I'll link the hints paste bin, but for this seed, they're using bingo hints. So these are Dobby's favorite hint distro. I
might be biased, I don't know.
Just slightly. Bingo hints are also able to be customized using the individual bingo sync room as well. Thank you ETR for the wiki link. So that will have a lot more explanation than either of us could give it a reasonable amount of time. But for this, since all racers had access to the bingo sync link, you can input that into the custom distro so that the generator will identify what the board has. So for some of these, we have double magic, we have a slingshot, a bow, bomb bag 40, all 3 swords and shields, tunics. All of those may or may not be hinted, or items that would help you get to them would be hinted instead, and they'll come up as custom generated hints. Usually as named items, so kind of like you'll see that one of the hints that Dotso had read earlier is that a boss key is on the Colossus left hand. You'll also see sometimes that Dodongo's Cabin hoards a slingshot or something like that. Or inside Ganon's castle hoards a strength upgrade. That was one that we also saw. So those types of hints are ones that are specifically generated through the bingo distribution. And that also is directly correlated to our path hints, because they are also similarly named items, but they're not linked to logic, and they're also vague by saying on the hero's path.
So basically, Dotso isn't using the bingo hint distro, so you won't see those. He's using very strong. It ends up being very similar. But the bingo's hints, what you'll end up with, you'll see item is in this location. So it'll tell you, for instance, bomb bag is in Dodongo's Cavern. So it'll just tell you the area that a particular item is found. And the DDR hints uses a similar mechanism, so they generate the same way. The only difference is that instead of telling you that bombs are in Dodongo's Cavern, it just tells you there's an item there. So it says they may be on the hero's path. So you don't know precisely what the item is, even though in the background it's basically the same thing happening.
Oh, and Damago also using ISG to get sticks.
Okay. It's definitely, if you're first learning how DDR and using glitches, ISG is definitely a good one to try out, since you can use it to farm 6 and also just obliterate Phantom Ganon.
It makes it so much easier using ISG on bosses. It really does.
And if you play on Everdrive, you can just be sad that you can't really use it on final Ganondorf fight because of all the lag.
Oh, yes.
Also, yeah, shoutouts to Sage using the long shot there in DC. That just, you never have long shot here. Sage is also originally a standard player, so you'll see a lot of really cool techniques that Sage does. As he's well used to using a lot of, a lot fewer glitches in to start out with, and so has a lot more of like interesting techniques like that to use, save just a bit of time using long shot.
And also, almost forgetting to light the eyes. But yeah, having standard base knowledge is extremely helpful, again, because this is all glitchless. The way that the stages are generated are pretty much the same as standard. The only difference is the settings that we choose. Cubs is also typically a standard player who has recently breached out into DDR and is still learning some glitches, so you probably see very similar routing tendencies to Sage, since they're both more used to standard.
Looks like Cubs is checking out the different medallion layout. That's not going to be as important here as it would be for like a normal seed, since we don't really need the medallions to beat the game. Oh, actually, never mind. 4 medallions is on the board. They're going to need 4 medallions. It will also be useful for them to know which ones are going to give songs, since 10 songs is on the board.
Yeah, this is being a blackout, meaning that we're goals. There will be some that are a lot longer than others, since it is not meant to be done quite fast. There are different board types. You have a short board, or a long board, or a blackout, right? Something like that? Or is a long board a blackout?
The long board is the blackout, so you have a normal board for rows, a normal board for blackout, and then you have a short board for blackout. So to note, because of the mechanisms of how Bingo Sync does it, which if you're curious and want to try out these bingos, you can check them out at bingosync.com. And then if you select for the game Ocarina of Time, then you'll see in the variants the list of all of them. Because of how that works in the generation, blackout boards also work for rows as well. So if you're looking to just do a short board, but only do a row, you can do that correctly as well. So there are actually 5 players in this, but because we can only have a certain number on Restream, there are 3 people on Restream and there are 5 total playing.
Yeah, it looks like the magenta is just showing up like that because of the stacked colors, but that is technically Datso's color. Oh, now I see. Okay, I see that there are goals next to each person. Let me see if I can change that. So player 1 is Danmaku is blue. Let's see.
While Cheer's breaking on that, we do see Cubs going right now to the composer's grave, which will be good because I'll get a song. As we're mentioning, there are 10 songs on this board, which is a lot. There are a maximum of 12 in the game, so they're going to need to go around quite a bit and grab songs. You know, obviously, Sage just absolutely obliterate King Dodongo, which is good. It's progress towards those 4 medallions. Ooh, unfortunately, Danmaku losing the shield there, and so opting to just reset.
The other option in DC is that because scrubs are not spirit, but if this was in like DC or something and you had your shield burned by a fire keys, there is a scrub nearby that you can buy a shield from. If it's different seed, who'll be the first to find Greg? I don't know. Since we don't have all 5 of them on stream, they're Mido's house. All right, never mind. The answer is Datso.
Yeah. Was it vanilla Datso? Because that's at least the area it's supposed to be. One chest off. Aww.
Nice. Close.
Neapolitan.
French vanilla.
Shadow Stone here. Yeah, so if Shadow is Stone, that's pretty gross because then it would be a medallion you're not going to get. You do still, if you get all 3 stones, you do get a song, so I mean, not horrendous, but you definitely prefer a medallion there. Ooh, a bottle, nice. Sage get finding a bottle. It's one that's surprisingly useful for a lot of goals.
It is indeed. I'm going to swap out Cubs for Dr. Nagi. We'll see how they're doing.
And yeah, and we will, notably, they are going to need bugs for the all 4 Wastelands on Colossus area skeletons. So they're going to need a bottle for that.
Yeah, we are going to be visiting all adult dungeons for the small keys, but there are quite a lot of goals that require us to get there anyway. And it looks like Nagi has the bunny hood.
Which, you know, I don't think it's for speed. Oh, it might be. They might have the speed increase turned on.
Yeah, they do.
It's also just cute and adorable. Yeah, that definitely has a speed increase.
Yep.
Gotta go fast.
Yep. Nope. Redead say no.
Get your bets in for Sage or Dompe. I'm going with 49.
50.
Ooh, no faith in Sage.
I mean, I have no faith in Dompe.
That is fair.
While we're shuffling in players in and out, are there any questions that chat would like to ask us about DDR or about bingo?
Or about glitches, though.
Or either,
we'll
yeah.
do our best to help out. It's gonna be a good time from Sage. Yeah, 48.
Nice.
Good time.
Kinra and Asder, 48s.
I mean, TJ, if you actually are serious, the answer is yes. Can I explain it well? No. Can I explain it? Yes.
It's also banned in this rule set, so I mean, even if you want us to explain it, you can't use it in a seed.
We are still hoping for tries to play DDR on a DDR dance mat.
I mean, Axe and I have talked about it. It's $30 on Amazon to buy a mat.
Definitely tempting.
Definitely tempting indeed.
Do it.
Maybe. Maybe. I would have to, like, actually practice it, though.
Practicing. That's lame.
I'm gonna break a leg, just saying.
Like, metaphorically, or like...
Probably literally. You can, depending, like, ooh, well, you know what? Dying is okay, because it still saved that. You can get back over. If you use RetroArch, you can double bind inputs. So I typically use RetroArch anyway, which is probably how I would connect it so that I could double bind some specific inputs. But it would be challenging, and I think I would be very tired.
No, redeads don't freeze your Deku Stick timer. It's why they were kind of dicks, and they put all over the game that you need to like do that. Like in Bottom of the Well, they do the same thing, where they put a redead that kind of is basically deliberately there to try and burn your stick. The devs were jerks.
But yeah, we are here to answer any questions, any and all concerns, or if you'd like us to explain glitches, we can give our best explanation about how to do some of them. So we went over Infinite Sword Glitch, ISG, we also went over Mega Flips and Mega Side Hops. Are there any other glitches that look extremely intimidating that we could potentially provide further explanation for? Other than SRM?
You can do that one too, but as we're mentioning, it's very much not allowed in DDR. It is not even allowed in No I Am Wrong Warp. Ooh, which method are you using for Bottom of the Well dive? Because there are a couple different ones you can do. The easiest one, if you're just learning out, is Navi diving. Cuckoo dive. Okay. So for Cuckoo dive, when you've got the chicken picked up, one thing that can help for that to avoid it getting mad is when you get ISG, you roll into it as you mash A. That gives you a better chance of picking up the chicken without getting angry. And then for positioning, it's usually good to try and be like as close as you can get to the corner of the well, near where like the lines meet up. And then you can shield drop and quickly backflip. The timing isn't super precise, but you do have to be pretty fast. Is there a particular part that's failing when you do it? Is it that when you drop it, you are getting attacked by chickens? Or is it the chickens are attacking you before you pick it up?
And then while TJ is responding, to like a really quick answer for Shadow Warrior, unfreezing King Zora without blue fire. There are two different methods to do so. The easiest one is if you have a cutscene item. So if you have like the prescription, eye drops, speed frog, any of the different cutscene items from Adult Trade Quest, you can just backwalk up into the loading area of King Zora. While you're not looking at him, pull out your cutscene item. And then just go back out so it deloads the area, so down that staircase, and then just go right back up the staircase, and he will have been unloaded. So that is the easiest way to do it if he has not been moved. If King Zora is moved, it's significantly more challenging, but using the cutscene item is the easiest. Another way to do it is that you can side hop your way Like you hug the wall of the staircase, you side hop all the way up, and the first available frame that you can read the sign in front of King Zora, you'll read it and then go back out and deload the area and go back up. But it's a lot more precise if he's been moved. If he's not moved, it's a lot easier, especially if you have some type of cutscene item.
Typically, if he's been moved and you're trying to do the sign method, you have to face the other way. So normally when he's not moved, you face towards the wall that you were crawling against. If he's moved, you face away from it. And yeah, TJ, it sounds like it's just they need to be a bit faster for like the drop and then backflip. So you can just practice that part. Because yeah, what's happening is it's waiting too long, and the chicken has hit its timer for wanting to murder your face off when you drop it.
Yes. And then Azure, if you want the mega flip, the mega side hop, or the damage recoil with hovers, or all of the above, there are many ways to do it. If you're talking about the mega flip, which is the frame perfect one, Dobby may be better at explaining it than me, because I don't know the beginning setup, but I can explain, yeah, the one without hovers. Dobby, do you know that one? That's more traditional in Bingo. Wait, Dobby is gone? Where did Dobby go? Oh, he muted. BRB. In all caps. Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that. I do know there is a setup. I could probably find it in the Bingo Discord, Azure. But I don't know that one offhand. Someone give him socks. I don't know if Dobby actually wants to be freed. I can't free him yet. We still need to restream. But TJ, hit me up whenever. I will help you murder a chicken and enter the well any time of the day. You let me know, my friend.
Wait, do I finally get socks? Is someone giving me socks? Am I free from doing DDR commentary?
No, you cannot
leave. The prophecy has been fulfilled.
I will bring you back. I will drive up there, contact your girlfriend, and bring you back.
And Dobby will never be free. But I kid, of course. I always have fun doing this commentary.
Yeah. So Azure was asking about the mega flip across Gerudo Valley, the one typically done in Bingo. Do you know that setup?
Not well. I know there's a video for it, but I couldn't tell you the setup off the top of my head. I just know it's way more precise than the hover boots versions.
Oh yeah, I think that one is frame perfect. I do know it includes... Oh, Nagi, that is my least favorite jump in the world. I do know it requires rolling correctly against a post. That has been the theme for me lately, is that I cannot Z-target a wall, so I have to roll correctly. And I have it underlined and a lot of exclamation points in all of my handwritten notes for all of my glitch tricks. But I can at least say that is probably part of it.
The positioning is also very precise too, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Sage actually just did a really neat trick. There's a lot of collision in this game that Dotso has a really long, like 6-word explanation, none of which the words I understand. It's something about Dinopoly. I don't know. And collision priority, something about that. But anyway, there are a ton of different spots in the game that you do a really easy setup. You get into the corner, you side hop, and then side roll. And this gives you a particular angle, and then you can crouch tap twice and jump attack, and that clips you through walls. One of the most notable examples is here at the basement. You can use that to clip through the blocks, as well as you can do it in the bottom of the forest level. You can also use it to clip into the archery game in CAC as a dodo.
Nagi getting a strength upgrade, yay. And looks like they have randomized their songs. So this is also the fun of generating our own saves, is that you can do whatever settings you want. I think Sage may have also done some type of randomized song, since they collected it as an item from Windmill. But Yeah. This also just adds more fun and complexity of be like, hey, oh look, free shield! See, this is my seed. Sorry, I got so distracted by Danmaku getting a free shield.
Ooh, nice weird shot there, unbuffered.
Oh, how about this? Dobby, why don't you explain how to weird shot?
Okay, so weird shot is another one of those weird glitches involving bombs. What you're doing there is you are dropping a bomb and getting a certain distance away from it, then rolling into it. On a particular frame, you pull out the hook shot, and this causes Link's arm to the camera to get kind of detached from him and go straight underground. In terms of the frames, it's one that you can do. If you're on a console that can pause buffer, there are relatively consistent pause buffering strats. There are 3 frames at which you can roll, and then there are, I think, 2 frame perfect inputs afterwards that you can pause buffer to get to notice. So there are also unbuffered strats, plenty of tutorials out there. I think Arthur might have one.
I think also Fig has a really good one too.
Oh, Fig's got a really good one.
Yeah. Oh, TJ, hookshot and bow extension are my least favorite thing in the entire world, especially when you're trying to hookshot extension across the bridge, because I will always fall off.
I don't know why. Hookshot extensions, I can never get hookshot extension.
But, yeah, Fig has a good one. Arthur has a really great mega flipping video as well for how to do it with bombs and with chews. But Fig has an unbuffered weird shot one that I've definitely seen linked a couple of times in gameplay and tricks channels in the Discord. So it is something that I think for weird shotting is that you just have to develop muscle memory in terms of how to release your inputs, because the setup is pretty consistent. It is just a very small frame window. I think it's only 1 frame to release the inputs in the correct order, so that Link will go underground to perform the weird shot.
The good thing, contrary to MM weird shots can actually crash the game. You don't have to worry about that. At least as an adult, don't try to weird shot with hook shot as a child. That will not work. So Dot's saying nothing about weird shots is frame perfect optimally.
But optimally meaning, I guess, when you have your muscle memory.
Yeah.
It's like you can pause buffer your way through it. If you're an emulator, it would just take 10 years. But you definitely can pause buffer the heck out of it, and that would make it significantly easier. Hookshot as child is equip swap, TJ.
Hookshot as child crashes the game. I mean, equipping it doesn't. Trying to use it does. Or technically, yes, it soft locks you. It doesn't crash the game. I think it just freezes you in the whatever animation you're doing, so you can keep walking until the end of time.
Is that another song lyric?
It sounds like it should be, if not.
Yeah. So to go back to extension, is you are, while in aiming either bow or hookshot, you have to have the up position cancel and re-select the hookshot in consecutive frames, I think, something like that. As your equip swap is banned in DDR, correct?
Correct. It is one of the most hotly contested ones that is banned.
For now. I don't know, Dotso. I think it may be forever.
No, it's definitely one that will be interesting. Every time it's brought up, it is interesting, shall we say.
But there was another a trick that Sage had just showed of skipping a key in Fire Temple to get to the shortcut chest. So there are multiple ways to do this. You can do the zoomer strat that Sage did, or the boomer strat, both of which are pretty much the same. Although I do think that the zoomer strat has little idiosyncrasies that I never understood until Dotso pointed them out to me, and then I got angry because it's just very stupid. But when you are approaching the strength 2 block, you can either, once you jump across the ledge, do a neutral roll, side hop, crouch stab, which will set a position for dropping a bomb, not shield drop, just placing a bomb. And then if you nudge yourself into the corner, you'll be pushed through the wall to go out of bounds and into the shortcut area. So the one that Sage showed is a little bit different, where you're setting your angle when Link comes up the ledge. But either way, they both work, so that you can push your way through to the shortcut and essentially skip a key. So if Pierre was a key, you don't necessarily need it, but you do need to be careful that you don't use your keys going backwards, such as kind of Sage is doing right now, is using the keys. But you could save yourself one key and fire by doing this, theoretically.
Typically, it's also faster. It helps prevent some backtracking, whereas normally you have to like go all the way around like a second time. Here you would not have to do with that strat. But that's basically the only major skip in Fire. It is the Resident Sleeper dungeon for DDR. There's not so much you can do. Ooh, Nagi has dungeon entrance rando on? Wow.
Nice. That's actually one of my favorite settings. As
we were mentioning, for the bingo, there are a ton of different settings that are compatible with bingo. So there are basically only a few you have to like avoid. You can't. You have to make sure that maps and compasses are somewhere in the world, so you can't start with them. You have to make sure that boss keys are somewhere in the world, and you have to make sure that there's another one too. Gerudo card is somewhere in the world. Those are basically it that I can think of in terms of restrictions. Otherwise, I mean, you want to have entrance rando, go right ahead. You want to have skull sanity, go right ahead. Any such things are totally fine.
And also, we speak it, it must be true. Pierre has a small key. Rip Sage. Get a save, scum. Small key or boss key. Or probably small key. If it's boss key, then this seed is butts, because that was the evil seed that we had the other day in A6. With a hook shot on 50.
Monk ass.
Yeah. No amount of glitches would have saved us.
No, that is probably worth mentioning. There are some things that even in DDR we cannot overcome. Notable examples are you will always require a hammer for Volvagia. You will always require Mirror Shield for Twinrova, and you will always require Boomerang for... I keep thinking Jabu, but that's not the name of the boss. Baronade. That's the name of the boss. So regardless, in DDR, regardless what glitches you do, you are going to need those 3 items for those 3 diamonds. You can climb that?
Yeah, you never do that?
I do, but it's a meme. Shh. Don't worry about it. So yeah. It is how they're coded. There are ways in different rule sets you can sort of skip them. It's weird. I think notably for Baronade, you could do some really insane strats where you use QPA and then hover up and attack it. It's technically possible. Would I say it's a good idea? No, but it's technically possible to do. But yeah, Volvagia is actually one that's coded that it actually will not die unless it's stunned with the hammer.
Okay. Yes, in the compass chest. Nice. So you mentioned an acronym that we haven't talked about yet. QPA, also known as Quick Put Away. QPA has a lot of different... Oh, Sage, why are you showing off with Hessing? But that actually is a standard trick to backflip through the flames. If it's gonna let him.
That's the way that I typically do it. That's just how it goes when I try it. Yeah.
Yes. For a weird shot, you can clip and attack the hitbox for Volvagia. Oh, iron boots.
Nice.
But yeah, she won't die without the hammer. So quick put away. Quick put away is where you are trying to put away a Deku stick, but in the same frame you are what?
I think it's one frame after.
One frame after. You are using a cutscene item, so you can see that Damaku has the Zelda's letter on C right. So you could use that. You could also use the egg. You could use the chicken, but most likely you would have Zelda's letter at this point.
Beans also work here.
Beans also work. And what that does is when you break your stick, after you have interrupted that, you have now stored a elemental fire damage value. So like a Din's Fire or Fire Arrow value. I think it's specifically Din's Fire.
Yeah, it's a glitch damage value that includes a bunch of stuff, but one of them is Din's Fire specifically.
Right. So that you can light torches with just the stick, without having magic, without actually having Din's Fire or other magical items. And that is extremely useful in Child Spirit. It is more useful. Thank you, Dotso, for the actual value it stored. It is more useful in Haunted Wasteland as Child, so if you reverse as Child from Colossus, you can use Quick Put Away to light the torches there, which I've personally used quite often when you get a Haunted Wasteland Way of the Hero, Path of the Hero. And one time, I found Din's Fire on there, so you were logically required to use fire arrows and magic to get Din's Fire, but I did it without magic. Yes. The other way that you can use Quick Put Away is that you can combine it to use Ocarina items. So if you are not able to 1 in 32 the treasure chest minigame like Cola, you could use Quick Put Away Ocarina items to play Sun Song and essentially revert yourself back to the beginning of the game and get yourself extra keys and try again as many times as you want. So yeah, that is also a very useful trick that has many different applications throughout the seed, depending on what you need to do. Put Away OI and QPA aren't related. Alright, Dotso, I'm sorry. I've lasted 1 hour trying to explain these. I'm allowed one mistake every 10 minutes.
But yes, as you were saying, Put Away OI, which is the technique for the ocarina, it's similar in that it's 1 frame afterwards, but what you're really doing there, you're catching something in a bottle, putting away that bottle, and 1 frame later, pressing the bottle button again, and that lets you play a fake ocarina that you can use anywhere that you can use a bottle. So notably, this allows you to do it, I guess, in boss rooms if you really wanted to. But notably, you can use it in the lens minigame. Is one of the best uses for it. It is 1.0 exclusive, but since Rando uses 1.0, it's fine.
Right, and just because it has Put Away, I relate them the same because also the inputs to me are similar timing. So that's how I relate it, is when you roll the buttons for doing Quick Put Away or Put Away OI, they're pretty much the same. Even though they have different functions. Don't kill me. I'm trying. I'm trying really hard to explain these. Sometimes I don't know why these things work. They just work.
Sometimes the explanation is because of OoT.
Yes. Sage finding a hostage bottle. Unfortunate.
We will probably not be using that. Well, we might be emptying it out and putting something else in it.
We do have to get all 4 skulls in Jabu, so technically it is helpful.
I guess. It might be useful for the empty bottle.
So, going back to our hint distribution, Bruto's letter is not able to be hinted Way of the Hero. It is still logically required to get access to Jabu, but it is a bottle that is not the most useful because it has to be hinted in first before we can actually fill it with an item of our choosing. So there are multiple different ways to get past King Zora, as Danmaku is showing the letter. So one way, which is my favorite strat, which actually has a video from ZSR, with no setup, just doing it, where you are damaging yourself through the wall through a chew. So your kind of backflip drop a chew pushes you out of bounds, where you can swim around the out of bounds line and swim up back into behind King Zora. The other two, which the majority of the players will use, are where you are taking the burning stick animation, and in the same exact place you would damage yourself out of bounds for the backflip chew strat. You jump slash and also get out of bounds. And then the last method is to ledge cancel using an explosive. So you're trying to grab a ledge, but you explode on the same frame, which kind of has a glitched camera, where you can walk your way up behind King Zora because he essentially is not loaded. And Sage was hessing, I guess, down Death Mountain Trail for reasons.
Yeah, he was also, as they're pointing out, wasting time today. He wanted to grab the skulls there.
I wonder if Sage had a hint for something. Alright, Dasso, thank you. This is why I did not learn ledge cancel. Maybe I should just not explain tricks then.
There are a good many tricks in this game that are really complicated how they work. The game is also really weird for collision, and basically everything, if we're honest. So you see Sage is going and grabbing those Kokiri Forest skulls as well. That is on the board, so we'll need to grab. Those are going to be one of the easier ones. You do still need a bottle for it, but the requirements are pretty low for it. Meanwhile, we see, I think that's Nagi in the bottom, who's going for the, looks like going through the Water Temple skulls. Or, sorry, Water Temple keys for this one.
Yep.
And Danmaku using the fish to enter. That is, as we're mentioning, you are required to enter dungeons in more or less the intended way for the for DDR rule set. For Jabu, that requires you to give a fish. Yep, we are definitely going for 32 Water Temple keys, for sure.
And Sage probably did not get the child skulls because it did not have a available bottle, potentially, or that was the last one. No, 3 Kokiri skulls are the bean patch, the one in the twins' house, and then the one behind the house near Kokiri sword chest. Those are the 3 Kokiri skulls.
Brothers,
so,
question mark?
what?
Know-it-all brothers, maybe? I'm not 100% certain on their names.
I used to, but I don't. I say the twins' house because it has the twins' pillars. And then, yeah, maybe Know-it-all house. Know-it-all brothers, yes.
Perfect. Our resident know-it-all is confirming that it is in fact that. I'm just getting it that so we are seeing. It looks like Nagi has, if the tracker is correct, has iron boots. And Zelda's Lullaby, so this should be pretty easy to go through it. And go through it for him. I now have a great picture of, like, you talk to one of the know-it-all brothers in the house, and they talk to you about all the different kinds of collision that exist in OoT. Just a 45-minute text box. Thought so would. That would be amazing, not gonna lie. Meanwhile, we see Danmaku going through Jabu. we do have the, I think it's Jabu Skull? Is that what it is? Yeah, all 4 skulls in Jabu. So, well, I don't think you're technically required to do Rudo to get those skulls, but, if you're planning on beating it anyway and you want to get the checks, might as well. You're still looking for stuff. It is slow for Rudo, but, I mean, might as well while you're here. We'll see if Sage is coming in here to actually clear Forest Temple looking for the boss key, or just here for, like, a small key. Ooh, and it looks like Sage might be going for the Poe cutscene skip with bugs, maybe.
Not having Susan.
Not having Susan. Feels bad, man.
Yes.
So as we were mentioning at the start, this is basically the sole reason that DDR we play with useful cutscenes turned on for this exact trick here. What they're doing is dropping bugs in this case, and then catching them on a certain frame, and that allows you to regain control during this cutscene and rush to the elevator before it goes down. And there are a couple different setups you can do for that. With fish, it tends to be easier just because the fish doesn't move around; it just flops there. Whereas the bugs can be jerks and just move wherever they want. Oh, nice! That's a very lucky Forest BK.
Yes, if this was an actual seed, that would have been magical.
That would be that's the best location for Forest BK in a normal seed.
Yes. I guess Sage is going to do a little bit of the dungeon first before completing it. It is a medallion, so it would be helpful to complete anyway, because we do need the 4 medallions. Still collecting skulls.
Looks like Cubs has got 3 swords, 3 shields. That's an interesting goal. If you are looking at that and thinking how impossible that is, you are required to find the mirror shield and the Kokiri sword, and those 2 are required. But in terms of the 3rd sword, it does count if you buy the giant's knife. That counts for that. You can also, of course, as long as Shiro isn't looking, you can also buy 2 of the 3 shields. I'm just saying, just make sure Shiro isn't looking.
Still buy 1 of them. That's okay.
Wow. Okay, I guess Cubs isn't blowing up the bomb chew lady, but himself. That's acceptable. Everyone's always so rude to the bomb chew shop lady, just exploding her.
So Sage doing another fun trick which is a ledge clip. Let's see. Datsu can explain this with more mathematical things. I think it's when there's a specific angle that can be created between 2 collision interfaces. You can essentially, when you're on the very edge, so you see the side up setup. So when you side hop to the edge of the ledge itself, you will do a neutral roll, and in a one or 2 frame window, depending on where it is, because some of them have different input windows, you will you let go of Z and re-hit Z on that frame. By targeting a wall, because he's left-handed. It's always 1 frame. Oh, one of them was 2 frame. You said to me, the day before yesterday, there's something different with Ice Cavern. But either way, if you just let go of Z, retarget Z on the frame that he is grabbing the ledge, during the falling, he will be clipped into that block. So you can use that in Forest Temple to skip a bow requirement in Song of Time. You can do that in Ice Cavern to skip requiring a bottle if you don't want to. You can also do that in a multitude of other places.
Yeah, and if you are, that's another one that you can pause button for. If you're on a console that can pause button fairly easily. The frame you want is the first frame that Link grabs the ledge, and that's the frame you want to retarget. It's less picky in terms of the untargeting during the roll. You can do that basically any time after rolling. But the retarget you have to be careful, and it's the first frame that Link is re-grabbing the ledge.
And also Sage showing off a Megaflip. You can get to the falling ceiling room in standard by using hover boots, or if you don't have hover boots and you don't like that strat, you can do a Mega Flip using bombs or bomb chew. Or you could damage boost yourself across to the green Poe room from the first room in Forest Temple, and then go backwards. All of which are available.
Yeah, Sage always has really interesting routing. Going through a very interesting way to collect all the different items.
Yeah, since the Forest Boss Key was not stuck on any pose, essentially Sage doesn't have to kill any of the pose if he doesn't want to.
And one thing to note for the cutscenes or the Poe cutscene skip, you have to be careful not to accidentally reset the elevator. If you do anything that reloads Forest Temple, so this includes if you do something like dying, if you save and quit, if you void out, or if you get caught by a wall master, all of these things and anything else that might reset the dungeon will cause that elevator to go down. And if that elevator goes down, you do have to go through the dungeon and collect all the Poes. Or don't necessarily have to. There are tricks to get to the basement, but they are significantly harder than the Poe cutscenes get.
Poes do have chests, yes, but depending on key layout, the majority of times they may or may not be a small key. So depending on the items that Sage already has, it is a risk to skip them in a race. But for most of the DDR players, I think we would not complete Forest if we were not hinted to do so.
You also see on Sage's side here, they were mentioning the best use for ISG. So if you're looking for it, it's right here. Okay, after phase 1. It starts in phase 2.
And also, Sage does not have a bow, right? Nope. Yeah, Sage does not have a bow. So that's another thing is you can technically complete this dungeon without a bow entirely. You can defeat the portraits with a hook shot or a long shot. If you do use the hook shot, you just have to be a lot closer because obviously it does not have the type of range that a long shot does, but it still works.
You know, it's not always about the size. It's fine. The one thing to bear in mind for DDR specifically, since you do require the boss key in order to enter the dungeon, if the boss key happens to be in one of those bow lock chests, you do require it for Forest.
Right.
So that is only 3 chests, and I think Shira is mentioning they're most likely to be keys. I think you were saying.
Most of the time, except for red Poe potentially, red or blue Poe, but there is no benefit to Amy or Meg, which are green and purple Poe, because they don't really lock anything. So the only Poes that you would need to defeat would essentially just be Joe and Beth.
I like that we can hear the money roll all the way through that cutscene. Getting that big money.
Big money, no whammy?
Was that actually how you're supposed to do this puzzle for Don Cub's side? I just always climbed on the ledge, even as a kid. I never understood what the point of was for those blocks.
A world may never know.
Yeah. I was just
right.
You can climb up.
Let's put Zatsu back for a bit. See where he's at.
Tatsu's no longer on timeout for buying a shield. Oh, he's in a GTG. Meanwhile, we similarly see Nagi is going through the Forest Temple, so also looking for that BK.
Pretty mirror show color, Dotso. Shadow Warrior, I highly doubt that Cubs is having closed door of time.
Most of the time... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, closed door time is not a setting that we have in our seeds, even though it would be allowed. Oh, Child Dongo. Oh, yeah. Got it.
That's possible.
I don't know why that didn't click.
It could also be if Cubs has entrance rando on. But yeah, one thing that is did want to mention, there are some settings you can use that like are totally fine, but and that you can use, but typically will result in longer goals. One of them being closed door of time. You can obviously just dot skip if you want to, or you can have it open. In addition, there are some goals that require you to go to Ganon's castle. And so, if you play with some kind of closed Ganon's castle, that could cause those particular goals to be quite annoying to do. So usually what you'll see players have is open door of time and open or an easy to do Ganon's castle.
And Lens, the runners do have access to this bingo card. So there is a separate bingo sync room that has the board itself, and also where all the runners have selected their pretty colors and are clicking on the goals once they have achieved them. They're also all in a voice call together, because even though we're playing different seeds, we like to talk to each other and have some fun and meme, and also complain about some of the shitty locations that some of our items may be in. So this is a community event. So this is not technically a race, this is to complete a common goal together.
It's also really nice, since typically you'll have a lot of really experienced players in here, so if you're struggling with the trick, typically someone will be able to help you out at least a little bit.
Yeah, they are all playing different seeds, some of which have customized a lot more than just the normal standard settings.
And I think Cubs did just buy a shield. I noticed he unmarked the 3 swords, 3 shields goal because he got hit by a fire keys. But he thankfully there is a scrub there if it's not randomized that gives you the deck and shield back. So I think that's what he did there.
Right, which would mean that he did not randomize scrubs.
Or just got real lucky.
Or got real lucky indeed. Uh-oh. Oh, he played this song! Cubs, you've disappointed me.
As we were mentioning, if you hear way earlier, there are many different ways you can enter bottom of the well in DDR. We mentioned earlier that there are entrance requirements for dungeons. That doesn't count bottom of the well, ice cavern, GTG, since those aren't technically dungeons by the normal definitions for the OoT community, since they don't have blue warps. The entrance requirements only counts for areas that have blue warps in them. So that means you can use any kind of thing you want to enter bottom of the well. Notably, one of the ones you'll see most often is you can use a Kuko, and you use ISG and pick it up, and that causes it to be angry. And so the very first chance it gets, it will try to initiate the cutscene that where it tries to murder your face off, which Shiro has many wonderful emotes about. And what you can do then is get into position and backflip into the well as that cutscene is happening. And during the cutscene, you ignore the water physics and just go straight to the bottom. We like to joke that that is the objectively correct way to open the bottom of the well in DDR.
Even if you have the song, you must murder the chicken. Or get DQ'd.
Yeah.
But not really, I mean, it's not required. This is part of, like, the fun of the community memes. There are some specific DDR memes, like murdering the chicken to get into the well, Ocarina Dive, skipping past King Zora, like, no one likes Ruto's letter. But ultimately, that is just a person's specific playstyle. If you want to play the song to enter bottom of the well and wait for it to be in logic, that is completely available and up to you and your personal preference. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. The seed does expect you to play the song. We just don't like to listen to rules sometimes.
Yeah, we don't like to listen to the rules that the randomizer tells us. We listen to our own rules. We're strong, independent bingo players, bingo and rando players that don't need no rules. That was a nice hook shot or boomerang throw from Cubs.
Yeah, so the randomizer does have glitchless logic rules, but that is the difference between settings and rule set. So the settings are pretty much, they are what they are. However, the way that you abuse those settings is in the scope of your rule set that you are playing with.
And notably, one of the most important things that we try to do with the DDR, the settings we use for the DDR community, is that you can always be completed following the standard rule set. So there aren't things that are like out of logic or that you won't be able to do, or to make it so you won't be able to do standard. The goal is that you will always be able to do that, and then you can just add glitches as you feel comfortable with.
And also, shoutouts to GGJ, the glitchless rule set, which has quite a very small following, but is very close to the speedrunning glitchless rule set itself. So I think there's only 3 people that have that rule. But not just standard, but if you like playing GGJ, the glitchless rule set, you could also use that entirely with this seed. Yay, Dotso finally has magic!
The real magic was friendship all along.
It only took you an hour and 26 minutes to say that.
It took him an hour and 26 minutes to find magic, what can I tell you?
There were other people that had magic, though.
Yeah, but you didn't comment on it, so it's less fun. So it is, at this point, we probably, because I think we passed the 1 hour mark, so we should probably mention, belated happy 1 hour, everyone.
Yes.
You are watching the DDR Community Bingo. This is not a race. They are all working together to complete the board that you should see on stream, assuming Trez figured it out, which it sounds like he did. Their goal here is to complete each of those squares by at least 2 different players.
Oh yeah, Dotso's purple. I have to change this. There are so many things I have to change. What is Dotso? Player 2? 2.
We also, this is using the DDR rule set, so probably can also mention that the DDR rule set is a glitch rule set between standard and no ROM warp that allows for a lot of quality of life glitches while banning some of the most powerful glitches in the game. So in this bingo, you won't see any ROM warping, you won't see any item manipulation, you won't see any equip swap, you won't see any what's the other one we're missing? Bomb hovering.
Hopefully Cubs doesn't lose a shield again. I think he might.
You have to switch your... There you go. He's switching.
There you go.
Perfect.
There we go. Somehow I knew that you were going to post that emote.
I mean, of course, I had to. Also, if you are looking to get into the rule set, we do encourage you to go check out in the OOTR Discord server. You can check out the DDR discussion channel. That has tons of players who are more than happy to help you learn tricks and glitches. You can also check the DDR S1 discussion channel for our first tournament, which will also have people that will be happy to help you out. If you are looking to try out the DDR settings that were mentioned previously, that you can go and find some example seeds in the DDR Async channel. Just don't click the last one that Dotso posted. It sucks.
So I guess we can also use this. Ooh, bomb bag. Your first one at an hour and a half?
Feels bad.
Wow! That's payback for the last seed rolled. But as Zabi just mentioned, so DDR is now about to start the bracket phase of its first inaugural tournament. So there are 10 players. Do you have an open bridge? You didn't go there. Smooth. There are 10 players, which gave some very interesting matchups with 6 buys. That was fun. Thanks, Challenge. But starting Monday, which is July 26th. Yes, July 26th. We will start having the first phase of the bracket matches. And stay tuned to the DDR S1 announcements, or racing announcements to be determined which one. But we will be posting the link for the challenge so you can see the matchups. And also stay tuned to the schedule on ZSR. We will be trying to restream as many as possible. So if there are volunteers, if you'd like to commentate or track any of these matches, we definitely welcome all new volunteers for not just DDR races, but for Standard and for Multi-World and Random Settings League. There are a lot of tournaments going on right now. And League. League also is another thing that's happening. A lot of things going on in the Randomizer community.
And outside the Randomizer community, if you are interested in bingo, there's also currently an ongoing bingo tournament for the vanilla OoT. That's currently ongoing as well, and I do recommend. You'll see a lot of glitches here that are quite interesting to see. In vanilla, there are even more craziness that can exist.
Yes, so when you're competing in the vanilla bingo tournament, they are not blacking out the entire board. They are just doing a single or column, so a lot less intimidating. Those typical seeds are between like an hour and 10 minutes to an hour and a half.
Yeah, they're contrary to these boards. Nice. In trials, nice. And contrary to this, in Randomizer, you can't really have any control over the length of a particular board, since it will depend entirely on your choices and where the seed ends up putting things. For vanilla, they do have mechanisms to try and make sure that the seeds will be about an hour 10, assuming you use all of the glitches that they intend. As we were pointing out, and we'll re-point out here, the boards that are designed specifically for Item Randomizer are designed to not require glitches at all. You do not need any glitches to complete any of the goals that you'll see on a Randomizer board.
Oh, butter knife. We don't have 3 swords, do we? We have 3 tunics. Oh, we do, 3 swords and 3 shields. And 3 tunics. But we don't have 3 elemental arrows. Wow. Your Guinness Castle is loaded, Dotso.
Yeah.
Why did you skip this sphere, like, the sphere 0?
He was too busy lecturing us on Dinopoly.
I never claimed that I could explain it well. I just follow instructions. I think that's also why we were chosen as commentators, is... I said Dinopoly, so...
I'm just Canadian, so I will say things wrong.
That too.
Deal with it.
So...
It is Ocarina and it is Gerudo Fortress. Deal with it.
But with Dabi and I here, and hopefully we have Egg who wakes up eventually, we have a wide variety of glitch experience and ability to perform some of these glitches. And I'd say I'm definitely the lower tier of the 3 of us. Don't interrupt Dabi. When you are unrusting, you will be better than me. I will just take the time it takes for you to derust yourself. But regardless of your skill level, what your interest is, even in glitches, we do welcome all players, whatever their play style, to come join us and have fun.
And it's probably also a good time to mention, if you are looking for some races to join, we do have the DDR weeklies at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. which is 3 p.m. UTC, I think. And that is every Saturday at that time. We have a weekly race for the DDR. Having fun, dance game.
Some days we like to have fun. Some days we just, like, cry and have a breakdown because our logical hookshot is on 50 skulls. Although in that case it wasn't. It just felt like it. And also, this trick, I absolutely hate. And the fact that you can do that before the bombs explode really upsets me, Dotso. But I'll get there one day. I could do it, but I don't do it as fast.
So yeah, there are a couple different, or several different ways to skip that strength requirement. If you were here at the start, that's why we're mentioning that you're supposed to need strength, but nah, it's fine. In this particular case, this was a method that didn't require hover boots. There is a method you can use for with hover boots that involve hover sliding and clicking into the wall, and then doing backflip at a certain time. I don't know the exact frame range for that. You do have a couple frames for it at least.
You have to also wait. You have to wait a bit anyway, because if you backflip too early and pull out your item, you will clip into the block, which will void you. Because the block exists. But skipping Spirit Temple is broken in a lot of different ways. You can clip into child side as adult with hover boots. There is a way to do it without hover boots, but complicated and a lot more risky. And you can do both of these just by doing what is called a hover slide. So technically it is a super slide with hovers. So a super slide is when you are using 2 bomb explosions to push you back into what can also be an ESS, so an extended super slide or hyperextended super slide. However, it does not require you in a normal super slide to hold an ESS position. You just go in a straight line from whatever angle you were at. Yes, a lot of hover slides. But
obviously, though, as the name kind of implies, you do need hover boots for those strats, and so Dotso is having to do some different strats here to get out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't know. This one just seems beyond me. I will either wait for hover boots or do it as child.
And as we were mentioning, if this looks intimidating to you, it is not at all required in DDR rule set or DDR settings at all. It does use glitchless logic, so you are expected to get to this. You are expected to have Requiem. Which we can also point out, Dotso currently has based on his tracker.
So that was a true distance Megaflip, and stuck in a wall, trying to get out of the wall, and hopefully can get out from wherever he's stuck. And looks like no. So sometimes that can happen either with the hover slide method or with this method, is that you do get stuck in collision. That is a known soft lock and just does require you to reset your game. It's not a hard lock, you just have to reset. So always practice glitches responsibly and save often. And Cub's having magic! Yay! No comment?
I mean, I already made the joke, and it's been like 10 minutes? I have some standards at least.
Dance game.
Like, if it was 10 minutes later, maybe. So as we were mentioning, if we're looking at the board, they do still have, as I mentioned, one of the worst goals on this board is 10 songs. That requires you to find almost every single song in the game. And so it tends to be extremely long to do. But a lot of the other goals are pretty fast that we're singing. Also, yes, welcome back, TJ.
Yeah, when we're doing individual seeds, it does happen to go quite fast. I'd say the average time for these are maybe between 2 to 3.5 hours for total blackout. And it's up to all of these players if they want to do an individual blackout for the entire board. But for the purpose of this restream, we will be going until each individual square has at least 2 players complete. So there's not very many left.
Mm-hmm.
And Dotso's probably looking at a video.
It is recommended. There are about 400 million video strats for different tricks, and so if you are struggling, we do encourage you to. You can look up even in the middle of a race if you really want to do a trick.
I've done it. Unfortunately, I
also
regret
done
it because I've learned. Oh, there you go. I've learned
First
that
try.
there are complications that I didn't understand and was not included in the video. But you can also do that. Or if you have a video that you're having difficulty with, feel free to post it in either gameplay or tricks or DDR discussion and ask for assistance. And one of us would be more than happy to help you through what is either going wrong or explain some more of the unmentioned inputs or timing that may not have been included in the setup video.
Ooh, it looks like Cubs is going to do the might be going to do the wasteland checks. I think Cubs just has Din Spyro, so we'll be able to do the easy strat and not have to worry about like PPA. But you can just use PPA for it. I think the answer, Kasky, is I think you probably have randomized sound effects on with your car. I'd recommend turning that off. So to be honest, it would be amazing if you turned on your car and it made a whooping leap sound. So I mean, I can understand if that's what you're going for.
Alright, I'm gonna swap out Cubs then, since he just put a BRB. And we will put the Maku back.
Oh, looks like Maku is in trials and is no longer in trials. Is about to go to the Spirit Temple.
I don't know why I typed out the whole word instead of just R.
Shiro doing reverse pirate.
Reverse pirate? What is reverse pirate?
I mean, because you didn't go R.
Okay.
I can feel the disappointment from here. It's amazing.
I shake my head. Yeah, exactly. Yano, thank you. That is literally me IRL right now. Literally. Thank you. Oh my god, Dobby.
Mm-hmm.
Drive me nuts.
It's my job, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, pretty much. Alright, what have we not talked about in the last hour and 45 minutes or so?
Oh, I was saying that Nagi was about to go into Water Temple, so we might see some Water Temple schools. But this is Dekuchu, so never mind.
Yeah. Dungeon entrance rando. Oh, Brewers win! That's a goal!
Nice. We can also replug once again, if you are looking for some more DDR action. Pretty soon we're going to have the bracket stage for the tournament that's going on. The very first DDR tournament on the in the OTR Discord. So you can keep an eye out for the schedule as they get marked down. We're starting out with, I think there are 10 players in the brackets. So you can keep an eye out for the challenge or challenge if you link to see who the players are, what the matchups are, and for predictions. It's probably also a good time to mention once again that they are doing bingo, and they all have different seeds. So they've chosen their own settings, their own, and pretty much basically their own everything. Other than we have a randomizer you can use just to make sure that some settings work for bingo, but otherwise, totally up to them. So you see here on Nagi's side has entrance randomizer on. That works totally fine, whereas the other ones don't, which also works perfectly fine.
That is also kind of the fun thing about bingo in general. Oh, double magic! Is that the first? No, second one. Nice.
The real double magic was double friendship.
Oh, and strength too. Logical strength. Actually, no, that could be logical strength too. French vanilla. Interesting. But oh my god, I lost my train of thought.
Success.
No, not success. Okay, what I was saying is that that's the point of these community bingos as well, is it's a way for us to enjoy Randomizer in a different way while still playing settings that we normally enjoy and can either turn off or turn on that we don't get to see in our normal weekly races as well. So if you enjoy Entrance Randomizer, if you enjoy Skull Sanity, Scrub Sanity, whatever have you, everyone is more than welcome to join our community bingos that we host at least once a month, for the most part. When we're in bracket phase, we probably may not be having as many of them, since the majority of our player base will be participating in the tournament and will be practicing. But please stay tuned for any of the community bingos, and we will announce them in the DDR announcements channel when they do pop up. And the setting... Oh, go ahead.
And if you are looking to try out the bingo, you can go to bingosync.com and then check out, if you select the game to be Zelda Ocarina of Time, you can select any of the item randomizer specific bingo generators. There are 3 different ones. There's a normal board that's designed for you to do rows. There's a normal board that's designed for you to do blackout, to complete the full board. And there's a short blackout generator that's 4x4 as opposed to 5x5, and designed for you to complete the board, though you can also use it for rows. And as we've mentioned a couple times, none of the goals on the board require glitches at all. You can go ahead with the settings now.
Oh yeah, the settings decoy that you linked are not the settings that most of these players have. The only thing that I think may be consistent is that we have an open Deku and useful cutscenes on. But all of these players have rolled different bridge and Ganon's boss key settings. For bingo, the most traditional is to put Ganon's boss key in its own castle. It's up to you if you want to keep 5 medallion Ganon boss key, but that would require you to complete 5 medallions if that is an actual goal. But again, if that's what you want to do, you go for it. The hint distribution that everyone is using, Datsu is using strong, very strong. The rest of our players most likely are using a bingo hint distribution by linking it to the bingo sync room that Dobby was mentioning earlier, so that specific item hints can be generated from the board. Some of those may be magic, bow, slingshot, bombs, because they do require a bomb bag 40. For War's Wind. Say what?
So for the now that we actually have a decent chunk of time, we can go over the bingo hints a little bit more. So when
you gonna tell me that I was completely wrong and basically to shut up then?
I mean, you're not completely wrong. It's just to note that there are not all bingo squares will give you the bingo goals. So notably, bomb bag 40 will not hint bomb bag for you. Since the goal of the idea of that goal is to find those items, they don't kind of want to spoil it by telling you exactly where they are. But there are a variety of goals that more require you to complete something or do a task. Notably, things like all 3 Kokiri Forest area skulls. Those kind of goals do tell you where to find the items you need for it. And the hinted bomb bags is likely for the Spirit Temple skulls.
For the magical croissants. Snowbear, Dobby has to let me purchase something first to make them more magical than they already are. But hello.
Isn't a boomerang basically a magical croissant? I'm just saying.
Get out. But yeah, do you want to give some further information then on the hints itself? What are the, like, if you were not to choose a bingo sync room, what are the hints that standard bingo hints would give?
Oh, that's a good point, actually. That's a good thing to mention. So yeah, so you don't necessarily, for bingo hints, have to put in a bingo sync room. You can leave it blank, and then there's a general list of items that the board will hint for you. This includes, I think, Strength 2, a Fire Source, Zelda's Lullaby, Bombs, Bow, Boomerang, Mirror Shield, Hammer, and there might be a couple others. It's the board is or the hints there are designed for you to be able to complete pretty much any goal, though there are some exceptions for specific ones. And though that will be able to work for most seeds that you're going to have. The bingo sync specific ones, or the board specific ones, that's specifically tailored for your board, so you won't get hinted too many items. You won't get, for instance, 3 bomb bag hints or anything like that. You're going to, and if you do happen to need something that isn't on that list, notably, gold scale is required for some goals, but isn't on the default list. If you put a board that requires it, it will give that for you. Hook shot, that's another one that's on the list. If you are curious about bingo hints, you can check. There's a wiki page that has a full list explanation. And if you want to check to see what goals give you what item hints, you can check the source code. There's actually just a page in the generator. I think it's in the data section that's got just a whole list of all of them.
Bingo card is distorted. Well, it is a widescreen, Snowbear. We're trying to have as many players on screen while still having the card legible. Appropriate use of the letter Y.
See, I'm surprised. Dotso... Is Dotso going for the schools? Yeah, he hasn't marked that off yet, so it's just interesting.
What one did... Oh. He does not have a hook shot, so he can't get the one on child side before the child iron knuckle. And hovering is not allowed. I'm sorry.
Doesn't have a hook shot yet? Wow, poor Dotso.
I know.
Okay.
Correct, Snowbear. I did mean a hook shit. And it doesn't even have a boomerang, so it can't equip swap either, even if it wanted to. But it does look like Dotso has Requiem, so once they either get a hookshot or a boomerang, they can come back and get that last skull. Yeah, I did the same thing, Dotso. You can't ISG when you play ZL. And going to be doing another hard trick that is absolutely not required, but once you get the hang of it, can be kind of fun, is to clip into the statue. And we'll be seeing it without the hook shot.
This is one trick that there are like 6 different versions depending on your particular item layout. If you have bombs, hook shot, and hover boots, there's quite an assortment.
Swag statue climb is not needed, but swag strats, whether they save time or not, are always appreciated.
So opting to just come back later.
Also
Possibly
fair.
went fine hook shot.
Spirit is a medallion though, so eventually would be helpful to finish. Especially since you have boss key and the platform is already moved down. It's easy enough to just hook shot one of the chains and come back up. It looks like Datso may be going into Shadow. And we'll do another common DDR exploration is doing Shadow without hover boots. You can Megaflip off the you can Megaflip off the torch using a chew, which is probably the easiest, although I feel like I've unlearned it, so now I just do it with bombs. To get to the, I guess, tongue, for lack of a better term, where the gate is, in the main room with the true spinner. You can also Megaflip across this gap. You can do that with chews or bombs, whichever your preference. Bombs have a lot more leeway in terms of frames. Not having a great time with Megaflips. But you can also use Naru's Love to make Megaflips easier, by the way. I don't know if that's something that we mentioned during the explanation of any types of these bomb tricks, but Naru's Love gives you a lot more leeway in terms of using the backflip, more or less because it extends, I'm going to say this wrong, but extends your collision for the explosion?
I think it's based on it works because of the iframes, and Naru's Love gives you basically infinite iframes.
Okay, one of those things. But it does make it a lot easier if you have magic and Naru's Love to do a mega flip. It's free invincibility. There you go. So same of the iframes.
Yeah. It's I think I had to do it at one point for like testing, and I couldn't do it with Naru's Love because I couldn't figure out how it was supposed to work. But I think theoretically what it's supposed to do is just you activate Naru's Love, put down the bomb, and then you can just wait with the shield, and then just once you get to the right backflip frame, you can backflip and get it.
Okay. That makes sense why I can't do it either.
Yeah, my muscle memory just wants me to roll every time, and I just roll and screw it up.
Same. But yeah, if you're struggling with mega flips and you have Naru's Love, with that to see if that would make it a little bit easier.
And yeah, as Shiro was mentioning, you can use mega flips to skip basically all of the all of the hook shot and hover boots requirements in this dungeon. There's actually only 2 spots in this dungeon you're expected to need hover boots. One's, as Shiro so disgustingly putting it, to get to the tongue, and the second one is in the last room just before the boss door.
Looks like it.
I mean, it's accurate, but also gross. But accurate, scary. Because I think it actually is a tongue.
Well, Shadow Temple is Monka S in general. So Nagi is doing another trick that is one of the many ways, again, that you can get into the Light Trial without Strength 3. And this is probably the most common, but also the most dangerous way, is by walking in and out of Spirit Trial to unload the block. So if you walk in and out too many times, you unfortunately also unload all the chests, and you'll have to reset the room. So you can do that by going to Inner Tower and then coming back, or save quit. But you do have to be a little bit careful the amount of times that you walk in and out of Spirit Trial. You could also, alternatively, where the scrubs are in the bottom, side hop either 18 times if you haven't opened any chests, or 17 times over that loading zone to unload the block, but you have to enter Shadow Trial first. So you would side hop. You would you would side hop, and then go open Shadow Trial, and then it would have unloaded. And Datto did this earlier, but you can also clip into it with a see, it is a tongue. With a bomb clip.
Yeah, Datto just showing off with the neighbor's love there, that it's just giving you the free iframe, so you can just so you don't have to worry about rolling at all.
Yes, happy 2 hours.
Happy not belated 2 hours, Hog.
Yes, on time.
So good time to mention. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it was just good to see multiple methods of accessing different areas on stream. Some more complicated than others, but it also shows the accessibility to some of these tricks that may look intimidating. It doesn't mean that's the version that you have to use. You could do something that's significantly easier and within just like opening a door, which is a lot easier than trying to ESS twice.
ESS, it's surprisingly precise, especially if you use like I think it's VC without an ESS adapter is the trickiest one. But I think emulator, depending on your settings, can also be a little tricky to get ESS. But yeah, at the 2 hour mark, we can mention that this is the DDR community bingo. So if you're looking at this board, this is a bingo board. So their goal is to complete these 25 tasks that you see here. For this particular day, what they're going to need to do is have at least 2 different players complete each goal, and they are working together in order to do that. Each of these players has a different seed, so they've generated their own bingo or their own OoT randomizer seed, own ROM, and are all working on with the same board. They are also using the DDR rule set, which is a glitch rule set between No, I Am Wrong and Standard, that allows for a lot of the quality of life glitches while banning the most powerful glitches in the game. And as Shiro was saying there, if you do want to try out the DDR rule set, which we always actively encourage, you can check out the Discord server and check out the DDR discussion channel, where people will be happy to help teach you tricks. You can also check out the DDR async if you're looking to try out some of the DDR settings. Just don't click the most recent one from Datto. Do yourself a favor. Pick another racing. Yeah, it is the fun. Nagi at least has a good color for that. There are some colors of magic that it's really tough to see if you actually have any in your bar.
I have seen at least the players on screen have Nocturne. So in order to access Shadow Temple, you can do the hookshot or hookshot jump or the super slide teleport. The super slide teleport does require no strength. And don't ask me to explain it, I don't know it. However, the hookshot jump, which is one of my favorite tricks and the first one I learned, is something that is allowed in this rule set, where you are bonking and pulling out a hookshot in the same frame. And Link does this weird like head tilt animation, and when you pull out the hookshot, you will basically catapult upward, and you can put yourself onto the ledge. Tilted as fuck, yes. And you can either seam walk, which is challenging but doable, or you could get yourself ISG off of the hoe nearby, and then walk across the seam with a lot more so you won't fall off, and then get yourself up to the platform. Unfortunately, in this rule set, you cannot jump over the loading zone, since the intent of the dungeon door requirement is that you have to open the door. So you do have to just drop off to the platform. You can't jump over the loading zone. like probably most would do in a bingo. But in order to open the door, you can do it one of 3 methods. You could use Din's Fire, you could use the fire arrows, or as child, you could do Quick Put Away, as we were mentioning earlier. All of which are acceptable, but different ranges of difficulty. And the only one in logic is having Nocturne, Magic, and Dins. That is what the seed will require you to have. So very similar to standard. Hashtag bring back FAE for standard.
And to mention that trick that Shiro was talking about, Super Slide Teleport. How that's working is that you can't have a strength, since if you have a strength, the trick will not work anymore. So you can pick up the bush. But what you're doing is you are setting up for a teleport next to a certain shrub next in the graveyard, and then getting a super slide off of that, which ends you shooting backwards. And because of the elevation of the graveyard, you start heading like up to higher ground on top of one of the graves. And when you let go of the target button and end the super slide, the game resets your X and Y position, or I don't know if this Dotso will probably correct me and say that the OTs different ones, but it sets your horizontal position, but it doesn't set your height position. So you end up at the same spot as the bush that you were trying to pick up, but your height is where you ended up on the end of the grave. And since
I'm confused what's going on right now, though.
For which one? Sorry.
No, finish your statement, and then I don't know what Dotso's doing.
Good question. Oh, did he use Dins over there? Dotso's showing off that is the way that you can complete that room with child. So just swagging out. Thanks, Dotso.
To unload the enemies?
Yeah, so it's I couldn't tell you exactly why it works. I think the answer is because OOT and because flags. But yeah, for some reason when you Dins as you open that door, you can then I think what technically it's doing is it's after glitch, I think officially. It's keeping the current room you're in loaded while it thinks you're in that next room. And so the flag for collecting all of the rupees in the next to the demos, it gets set to the room with the redeads, and so it completes that section, and you're just able to walk into the door that's normally locked. I think is what's happening, but I'm not certain on that.
Alright, I'm gonna switch in Sage and Hubs.
Just wait 5 seconds though, so we'll see here when Dotso goes to this door. You can
I'm not watching out Dotso.
Okay. Then yeah, you can see this door is now open and unlocked. Oh, and as we were mentioning actor glitch, so right here we see, I think it's Sage on the bottom left doing blank A. So that's where you enter a crawl space and then interrupt that animation by throwing a Deku stick. And Link gets all glitchy at that point. You can tell his button right now is completely blank. And that has some weird properties, the most notable of which is that you can just go straight through water. There you go. So Dotso having the explanation. It loads both rooms, and the silver rupees were check for any 5 silver rupees, so you can just collect the ones there and it unlocks for both. Looks like Sage is going to check some skulls. We'll see if there's any good rewards here.
Well, he was hard collecting them, so we'll find out why. Ditties!
Ditties!
Unfortunately, not a goal this time.
Feels bad, man.
And an arrow.
Clearly, it was for them titties.
Clearly, double defense, the way to be.
As you heard us mentioning, there are some really interesting goals you see on here. One of the nice things for bingo is that you can end up doing a lot of stuff that you would never normally do. Things like deliberately collecting ice arrows and double defense, as well as things like green rupee. There are also a bunch of goals relating to collecting skulltulas in different areas. There's skulltula totals. There's specific items you can find, like fairy bow and long shot that you see on here. There's specific song counts. There's a ton of stuff. I think there is a list posted in the resources section of the Discord, maybe? I think it might have all the full list if you're curious.
But still no hookshot.
You know what they say, Dotso? Beggars can't be choosers.
Dobby.
Oh, the salty. I can feel the salty pain. It's delicious.
I need that emote.
It is adorable. I like that Dotso's in the middle of playing and all felt that joke was bad enough to warrant mid-Shadow Temple posting that.
Yep. Yep. A roll of duct tape? Uh-oh.
Thankfully, Dobalina I don't think is home currently, so I think I'm safe for now.
Well, karma happens. You will be hit later.
Mm-hmm.
If not for this, for something else.
For something. I'll deserve it, I'm sure. We also see here, and Cubs is an ice cavern. We were mentioning there are a lot of tricks in ice cavern to skip a lot of item requirements, notably the bottle. But as a bottle, so you can just go through normally. It's totally fun.
Yeah, there are also a lot of ways to do Ice Cavern backwards. So you can, if you have iron boots, I think there is a oh, this ledge is not having fun. Thanks, Breezard. But if you have iron boots, there's a very easy way to basically get to the last room in Ice Cavern to get the item in song. So if you only care for the song, you can skip the entirety of it. Or just go backwards through it so you don't have to collect the silver rupees to get to that room. To speed it up a little bit, but ultimately, if you are very efficient at routing through Ice Cavern, it would probably be a negligible amount of time difference to do it either way, since it is a very short dungeon.
So one fun thing of the room we're seeing Dotso in now, as we were mentioning way earlier, one of the properties that QPA gives you is specifically Din's Fire. So theoretically, you could burn those walls down with QPA. It's definitely not useful, but hey, it's funny.
Child Shadow.
I think even a child, you'd probably just want to just re-dead through the wall. But, I mean, for swag value, it's clearly worth it.
Yep. And then we will be seeing Dotso do a Megaflip to Bongo, which he does have a setup up on YouTube. Dotso has a lot of setup videos. Highly recommend watching a lot of them. Sage getting a hammer. Nice.
That. Hammer time.
And the setup actually does make it significantly easier. So if you do no mega flips, specifically distance mega flips, or to me they're just the same, he will be showing off that as well. And also, Shadow Temple is the one or two depending on fire, but is a dungeon that you can key lock yourself and essentially create a soft lock. So do be careful if you are going to either cage clip in Shadow or skip it, like skip some things. If you do not have a small key when you're crossing the boat, you can actually key lock yourself and lock yourself out of the rest of the dungeon. So do be careful if you're going to be doing that. And also it's also showing off a 1.0 exclusive quick kill for Bongo, where you were damaging the hitbox while he's not visible. And basically you can just jump down, and if you had ISG, you could just like ISG the heck out of him, or just crouch stab. Either way.
Either way, doesn't even get a chance to defend itself.
Nope.
Which is just how we like it. Bongo can be very mean if you let him do anything.
Yep. Where in the world is the hookshot for Dotso? It seems like, is Sage the only one to have? No, Sage and Cubs both have long shots.
And Sage got his within like 20 minutes or something crazy.
I think it was in like 5 minutes.
And get your bets in now for chat. Where is Dotso's hookshot?
I can actually make a bet. We'll do that. Why not?
We also have Cubs completing the 10 songs, which is very nice. As we were mentioning, 10 songs is one of the grossest squares on the on this board. So that is one we're probably going to see happening pretty late with the second player. Thankfully, for most players, tend to play with songs like within like shuffling amongst themselves. So at least you know fixed locations you can find them. It's just getting to those locations that can be annoying.
So there is a bet open for where is Dotso's long shot if anyone would like to bet. You can do !bet in chat. And I'll keep it open for a minute or two.
We'll see Sage go for the nice quick kill on Vovaja using, based on the equipment it has right now, probably Chews and Nuts. Sage showing off the power of these nuts. Nice quick kill. Oh, and we'll see. Cubs is going into Water Temple, which I think Cubs actually doesn't have Dungeon Rando on, so is actually going into Water Temple. Let's see. I think I don't know what our people's key situation is like. One of the other gross goals on here is obtain one small key in each adult dungeon. So that, as we were mentioning, that only counts the actual dungeon. So it doesn't count Ice Cavern and it doesn't count GTG. Notably, there are no small keys in Ice Cavern. And so all they need to do is get a small key from Forest Temple, Fire Temple, Water Temple, Shadow Temple, and Spirit. Those are the only ones they need. But that in itself is no small task, as you are required the items in order to access the Forest, Fire, Water, Shadow, and Spirit Temples. Then. Most notably is a hookshot.
We're just gonna say hi and bye to our bro Darunia. So this cutscene is enabled more for the no item manipulation wrong warp rule set, where you can use this cutscene to do a hookshot jump and essentially skip the boss door. So we can't pick and choose the useful cutscenes that we enabled, so both this and the Poe cut scheme oh my god, I cannot speak anymore. Poe cut scene will be enabled when you choose that setting. But we do get to say hi to Darunia, because there's not often we get to see Dancing Dad.
And thankfully, with a fast text, that whole cutscene is like 3 seconds. So there are ways you can do to skip that cutscene that you do in vanilla, because it takes approximately 35 years, as does every single cutscene in this game. But in Rando, I doubt it'd even be worth it.
Sage rolled ZL on AD. Wow.
Oof.
That sucks.
Apparently, that's the flip side for getting, like, bombs, hookshot, bow, and boomerang in the first, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah, it had to be something.
See, if we just look at the goals that are left that no one's really done yet, all 4 Wasteland Colossus area skulls, that can be a tricky one since you'll need to go to the Wasteland or the Colossus area as a child. You can do a variety of different tricks to get there. You can do a Megaflip. There's also a Kuko version that you can do to get to the Gerudo Fortress area and then cross the Wasteland as a child. Alternatively, if you've got Requiem, obviously you can do that, but it also requires a bottle, which sometimes is trickier than you'd think. As for the other ones, you're obviously going to want a hookshot in order to access some of the adult skulls, and either a boomerang or a hookshot to get the Wasteland skull. For obtaining 1 small key in each dungeon, as we're mentioning, the main part for that is the stuff you need to get in. In this case, you need hookshot to access Fire Temple. You don't really need much of anything in order to access Fire Temple. You need hookshot in order to access Water Temple. You need either a fire source or try to go in as child for Shadow Temple. And then for Spirit, you just need some way to get to Wasteland. For obtain 5 different small keys in Water Temple, it really depends on your layout, what items you might need. But theoretically, you can get that with as little as nothing, I think. But I think you're quite likely to need hookshot somewhere, I believe. And worse on worse, you're going to need it to get in. For the Spirit Temple Skulltulas, the main thing is getting to the skull that's behind the Song of Time block. You can do that either, obviously, with Song of Time. You can also use hover boots. This is a technique you can use to do that. As well as getting the child ones, which you'd need either Requiem to go there as child or some way to clip it into the skull. And then for 7 maps and 4 medallions, that depends on exactly what layout they need. Obviously, they need to be access to at least seven areas that have maps, which includes the dungeons as well as Ice Cavern and Bottom of the Well. And then medallions, it depends what the medallions layout. They need stuff to complete, enter and complete 4 dungeons that have medallions.
For 2.5 hours, there's not that many goals left to be completed, and the majority of them are well on their way. These are just the longer goals themselves. I'd say this is pretty good.
Yeah. It's definitely a pretty good board. You can see a nice mix of stuff that you see here. Some of them can be a little tricky, notably Bomb Bag 40, since you require all 3 instances of it. That's another thing if you're generating on the short item randomizer boards. There are no goals which require you to find all instances of a single item. So you would, for instance, never have Bomb Bag 40. The maximum I think you can get is Bomb Bag 30 or better. But in this particular case, since they have a lot of people, the odds of someone, or at least 2 people, finding those goals are a lot better.
This is probably one of the few times that most of our players will almost full clear Water Temple, which is very painful.
I think, how many items is it that's in water? Is it like 3?
3? I think 3.
It's really
3 or
bad.
2. Oh, with maps and compasses, 1.
Oof.
Yeah, so 3 total.
That's a big oof. So in this particular case, actually, since the maps and dungeon compasses are mostly in the dungeon, that means there's 1 actually useful item in Water Temple. Or maximum.
Yeah, 4 with mass compass too. Alright, fine. I don't have the cheat sheet up, but it is not useful in the sense.
Yeah.
And also, did you roll another seed with Pierre boss key? Or something, Dotso? Like, really? Another one? Are you didn't do highest score on yet? No? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention, I was doing something else.
It is another seed with gross hook shots, though, so...
Nope.
Nice 360 no-scope from Cubs for that Tactite. Well, meanwhile, it looks like Sage is actually going to be the first to collect the skull that's in the wasteland.
Yay!
And voila. And then also getting the check while you're here. Might as well, especially if you have to Inspire already. As we were mentioning, you can use QPA to get this as a child, but you're adult and you have DINs, might as well. Vanilla. Or technically, I guess it's Neapolitan, because we don't know if it's exactly the purple rupee that's supposed to be there. Maybe it's another purple rupee that got put there. We don't know.
Is this game even rando?
Is the game even rando?
Probably not.
So far, everything's been vanilla. But it looks like Sage... Oh, Sage is going for the hover slide method. So this is the one Shiro was mentioning way earlier. For the accessing the adult side without the strings.
Yay! And did not get pushed by the block to die. Awesome.
For people miss it, did you want to go over that again, how that works?
I've been yelled at every time I try to explain it, so you go right ahead.
I mean, you can go ahead. This one, if you had it, everything was correct. You're good.
Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna be yelled at for something. I actually haven't done this one in a while because I have been killed by the block. So, go ahead.
Blocks are pretty dangerous. So yeah, so what we're going for there is you're getting a hover slide to equip. You're setting yourself up against the wall there and getting a super slide. During that super slide, you're equipping hover boots. And then as you get into the wall, you can hold a specific angle. Usually it's about down right, though depending on your controllers, in particular mine, I need it a little bit up from down right. And so, but it's around there. That allows you to clip out of bounds. You hold that angle till, and that allows you to like curve around the wall. When you hit a certain frame or a certain couple of frames, you want to backflip and then use some kind of item in order to shorten the distance of your backflip. That includes bow and includes hookshot. I think it even includes like sword too. And that allows you to land within that block without it crushing you. And then you can just use the hover boots to cross that gap.
You don't technically need hover boots to cross the gap. You can do it with just a rolling jump.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess you can. I've never tried because I always have hover boots.
Yeah, Datsu did it a couple times with the bomb push method, which is the one that I've been leaning towards lately. Now that I've got it more consistent. Like I've said before, tricks that have been more painful that I've suffered with, I tend to remember more and then I'll rely on them. Because I've had to do it so many times that it's like ingrained. But yeah, you can do it without hover boots as well. And this is kind of the the beauty of these glitches is that if there's something that is more comfy for you that you feel is more consistent, then go for it. There's no need to learn something that looks more complicated or maybe more complicated. As long as it is consistent for you, that is all that matters.
Yeah,
I don't think I've actually pushed that block down in years.
Yeah, I don't think like it's been quite a long time. Sometimes people mention that like, oh yeah, you needed the you needed the hover boots in Fire Temple because you aren't able to access that. And for my brain forgets that that's how you're actually supposed to get to the Volvagia is by hitting a block.
Thanks, logic. And Datsu also showing off weird shotting with the bow to hit Volvagia while still underneath the ledge.
As we're mentioning, that can get Volvagia to 0 HP, but Volvagia is specifically programmed to not die unless in the state of being stunned. Greg Poggers.
Second Greg.
And so you do need the hammer to beat Volvagia.
Everyone finding a lot of chews today. Alright, what goals are left?
As a reminder for everyone watching, this is a double blackout with this number of players. They have to get each gold. At least two different players need to get each gold.
So it's looking like the longer goals. Cubs is going to be the first one to obtain 5 different small keys in Water Temple, which is essentially all of them. 7 maps is probably going to be around the same time as 1 small key from each adult dungeon. While you're there, just collect a map. And then the last one that has no one yet is 5 skulls in Spirit Temple. Sage probably will be the first to get that one.
Yeah, I'm surprised. 7 maps is a lot of maps, as there aren't that many areas that have them. But usually it isn't too bad to get, and so I'm kind of surprised we don't have anyone who has that particular goal yet. But I expect it will be popping up soon.
Sage probably will be the first. It looks like they've completed 5 dungeons. I know they've at least dipped 6. But because we were shuffling in players in and out, we don't know how many everyone has at this point.
We'll see Dotso doing the game. Is he going to be abusing the poor bomb shop lady? He is.
Yep.
Rude. She's just trying to do her job, guys. Hashtag free bomb lady.
So while we are still going through some of the last remaining boards, yes, Cubs got all the skulls in. Oh, Sage got all the skulls in Spirit Temple. Cubs, I guess, has a small key on Morpha.
That would be oof.
Yeah, that would be Orf. Oh my god, oof. I can't speak English. I give up. But anyway, are there any questions anyone would like to ask us about DDR, about bingo, or other?
Or about tricks? Sorry, we can't diagnose your cars. Someone asked about that, and I'm sorry, I'm not a specialist in that.
Bombshell Lady probably could solo Ganon.
No, she'd be too busy napping, though. Ganon would be like, summon the true final weapon, nuclear explosion of death of light, and she would just nap right through it.
There are quite a couple of goals that only Sage has completed. I'm looking at the board, it's very red. Is that the 7th map for Sage? Yes, it is. Alright.
Nice.
So, yeah, Cubs is hovering over the 5 small keys. Morpha did have a key. How nice. So they have just gotten that goal as well. And the only one unmarked is 1 small key in each adult dungeon. So we are very close to finishing. And Sage does indeed have 17. Nagi has 9, Datso 11, the Makuaki also has 17. Oh no, has 11. I don't know why, Dobby, it says that you have 17.
It's because I forgot and didn't join as a spectator. I just joined the room, and it wouldn't let me leave and come back as a spectator.
That's funny. Alright, I guess you share colors with Sage.
Yeah, I am Sage all along.
Alright, and then Damaku has 11, Cubs has 12. But ultimately, everyone has to come together and collectively get 2 players per square.
So yeah, so it was worth mentioning that they will not be done once they obtain 1 small key in each dungeon. They'll need to double up on the goals that don't already have it. Notably, defeat Bongo Bongo, Wasteland Skulls, Water Temple small keys, Spirit Temple skulls, 7 maps, and 4 medallions. Still need a second one. And of course, Dazzo still needs to find his hookshot, so that would be closed with that.
Oh, it's been closed. Where was it?
Oh, I meant like pay out the bet. I don't think he's found it yet.
Alright, I'll pay it out to this one.
What doesn't exist? Rigged. Rigged. Shira paying out the bet to herself.
I mean, he still doesn't have it, so it doesn't exist.
I would have laughed if that check had the hookshot.
I would have too. I actually was half expecting that. I don't even know what else is left.
So meanwhile, Sage is also going to Twin Robust. My guess is this might have his last medallion for him. He's got his chapter,
yes.
but it's yes, that will have his last medallion.
Yep. Well, because he already had to do AD because it's DL.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Rip.
Rip. Good item layout though, but the song layout has been hot garbage.
Yep. And I guess Datso opting to do the Megaflip and into Domain instead of playing ZL. So there are, yes, there are multiple ways to get into Domain. You could use a chicken, you could do a Megaflip. As adult, you could also do a Megaflip, or you could use hover boots. All of them are completely acceptable.
You can also play Zelda's Lullaby, I guess.
Yeah, you could. But who does that?
Oh, you know, actually, you forgot one. The clip in Lake Hylia as adult. That one's also good.
The clip in Lake Hylia, or there's also a ledge clip further down river to do that as well, and you swim out of bounds the entire way.
Yeah, that's also acceptable. There's some other thing that I think we're forgetting, but it's probably not important, you know?
Oh look, my favorite thing in the entire world, water physics.
Yeah, that's to fluid dynamics. Oh, good. It looks like Cubs is going to Colossus or Colossus' child, so we'll grab this skull here.
I think Datsu's been cursed by my hate of water physics. You can blame me. I'm sorry.
Spoilers, she was not actually sorry. Oh, nice, and looks like that completes the Wasteland Skulls area goal, which is nice. So that's 2 of them there. They still need that water one's key from each adult dungeon, but at the very minimum, they have that goal completed. What is Dotso doing?
Oh, he's gonna probably Ocarina Dive or some of that effect to get the Lab Dive. I guess we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel for where our hookshot is.
If this gives hookshot, that would be amazing.
And Sage has checked off the 4 medallions.
So that's the second one for there as well. Quickly running through the goals at this point. They're just cleaning up what goals they have left. Probably also a good time to mention that if you are interested in the DDR rule set, either for the community bingos or for the races, you can check out the Discord, which is here. Here is just a bit faster. You can check out the DDR rule set wiki that has all the details for the rule set itself. You can also check out the DDR Discord server in the DDR discussion channel. You have people who are more than willing to help out and teach you how to do stuff. As well as you can check out the DDR async channel or ping at DDR in the DDR race planning section if you want to try out some races.
Yes, and if you'd like to learn any of the tricks or glitches that you've seen today, please definitely give a shout to any of us in the DDR discussion channel in the main Discord. In the OOTR main Discord, I mean. We are more than happy to help people either troubleshoot if they're having difficulty with something, or if they'd like to learn a new trick.
If you are interested in joining these randomizer bingos, we do typically try to have them about once a month. Though during the tournament season, that has shifted a little bit as gives more practice time for people for the settings. But generally, we try to have them about once a month, where everyone is kind of hopping into a Discord voice channel, so people are there live to chat and meme and help out if you want them to, while completing these boards all together.
There we go, Ocarina Dive. Alright. Let's see if this is a hookshot. No.
It was not.
Well,
Feels bad.
I'm gonna switch out, let's see. Let's put... We'll go back to Damaki. Siege. I'm gonna take Dotso off restream, so Dotso just let us know where you find your hookshot.
If.
Exactly, if.
We apparently paid out the bet that it doesn't exist at all, so, you know.
Yes. There we go. Added an S when I shouldn't have an S. And I put Sage in the right just so that we can keep clean audio, even though they're using randomized audio. So we'll find out where Nagi and Danmaku are. Oh, Danmaku decided to either Ocarina Dive or use a chicken in the well. I'm sad we missed it, but Poggers, they've done a trick. They have
Uh,
now been initiated into DDR by murdering the chicken. We are proud.
this is such a peaceful Shadow Temple music. Just, there's the whole area is filled with death sights, bottomless pits, guillotines, skulls, blood, and there's happy Kokiri Forest music. Everything's right, world, you know?
Oh yes, makes total sense. Nagi also using the bunny hood again.
As we're mentioning, it's probably a good time to remind people that for these, they're using their own seeds and their own settings. And so, particularly, Nagi has opted to use the, what's it called? Bunny Hood, Fast Bunny Hood, I think it's called, the setting. And that just means that you have faster movement speed with Bunny Hood. That's totally fine.
Yes. Happened in comms page for a second.
Yeah,
Is
I had
that
a
just
blip
me?
there. I had
Okay,
a
it
blip there
wasn't
as well.
just me.
Hashtag blame press.
No, could have just been random. Who knows? I don't even know anymore. Oh, I should probably change these colors. Because Dotso and Sage.
Yeah, you should change the color command to include a hue. Okay, thanks.
I have no words for you.
I mean, you have words for me, they're just misspelled. It's fine.
Abby. Nagi's stream isn't showing up. I was looking at preview. I can refresh it. Let me try. Let me know if that has popped up. There it is. Alright, yeah, some type of blip. All 4 of our ZSR channels are being used today, which is super exciting. So it could have been one of many things going on. Oh, it looks like Nagi was the first one to get small keys in all of our adult dungeons, so now we just need one more person. Nice. So that must have been Spirit was their last one.
Yeah, probably a good time to remind people that there's double Bing Blackout, so they will need to collect each goal twice, or 2 different players will need to collect each goal. So they're not quite done yet, but they do have every goal once, so it's just doubling up on the remaining ones. We see Sage is looking to go through Shadow to complete the Bongo Bongo. In terms of the keys, I'm not sure who's going for the small key in each adult dungeon. It would be someone who has to have Hookshot. So, you know, not Dotso.
Alright. I'm getting so distracted because Chimp is posting pictures of Puppy.
Puppies, Pog.
Yes. So I was going to look and see what is left. So 5 skulls in Spirit Temple probably will also be Nagi, who's currently there. We need 7 maps for 1 other person. 5 different small keys in water, defeat Bongo, and small key in each adult dungeon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 left. That's not that bad.
And we'll see
Yes.
some of them are almost done. Notably, we can see Sage is on his way to Shadow. It may also be a case where you risk it for the biscuit and you just don't worry about the getting key locked. Though with this amount of keys, I don't think that's even possible.
Risk it for the biscuit. Why does that not shock me?
Risk it for the biscuit. What, do you rather we say risk it for the croissant?
Yes.
For those who may not know, Shira is actually a baker, so if you have any baking questions, also appropriate, you can ask her.
Those are ones that you can't say that I'm wrong about, because you usually refer to me for those. So.
Oh god, yes.
I'm more confident in baking than Zooter, obviously.
I mean,
And
baking at least makes sense. Sometimes in OOT, things work because of OOT. Something about Dynapoli and, wait, sorry, I don't think I mispronounced that enough to make Dotso mad.
He's gonna come after
Dynapoli?
you. I'm gonna have Dotso roll you a seed, Davi, and you're gonna have to play the entirety of it.
This sounds terrible. I disagree.
Well, too bad. You don't get a choice. You have no socks.
Dynapoli. The chat with a lot of good suggestions about how to mispronounce whatever.
That's probably the closest to it, though, Dynapoli. Of all the different ways you've been saying it.
It looks like Sage got unlucky for the boss key placement. One of the, as we were mentioning, if you at the start and a couple times, one of the requirements for DDR rule set is that you do have to open boss doors by standing in front of them, pressing A. In the case of adult dungeons, this means you need the boss key. So Sage has to go and find that somewhere in this dungeon. Oh, it looks like Danmaku's going to Spirit. Might be the person who's going for the all 5 Skotolas in Spirit.
Yeah, bingo, especially when you're doing a double blackout bingo, is a lot of collaboration and communication. So all 5 of the racers or participants in the bingo today are in a voice call and are probably talking about who is closest to doing what, or who really doesn't want to do what. Different objectives that are left.
It is important when you're doing co-op things to stop, collaborate, and listen. Insert rest of the song here that I don't remember any of the lyrics.
Let's see if there are any wayward goals. Oh, Dotso did find Forwar's Wind. I mean, that's something. Not a hook shot, but a Forwar's Wind.
Yeah,
and in the same second, Nagia got in long shot. That's pretty funny.
Sage showing off another clip there that it's hilarious that you can just roll through that barrier. One of those hashtag because OOT things.
Yes. Look, Naga's love. It's looking like Nagi is going to be the one to do all 5 small keys and Water Temple. Let's hope that the last one is not on Morpha. That'd be great.
Thankfully, I think Nagi has long shot, so worst comes to worst can do it. It just kind of sucks. Like, you have to go to Morpha for that.
Yeah. Speaking of Morpha, long shot is not necessarily required for getting to Morpha. You can do a recoil with the hammer and hovers. You could do a super slide with hovers as well. Or you could do a mega side hop with hovers. Similar to how you get across Gerudo Valley Bridge. So if you do not have the long shot, you do at least require explosives and hovers, a hammer and hovers, or a shield and explosive and hovers.
You know that it's Shiro listing requirements when she feels the need to include shield in the list of requirements for an item or for a trick. Everyone else is like, yeah, we just buy it, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
see. I didn't see all of Nagi's equipment, but looks pretty well equipped to be able to like full clear water temple. Including has iron boots, so center pillar becomes not as much of a problem. You can still access the you can still get that item in DDR without iron boots. It's just a little bit tricky to do since you need to do 100% confident. I think it's a ledge clip, but there is a trick to it in order to access the bottom, the center pillar item in water temple.
So it is a ledge clip near the door, and then you are doing a bomb. It's not a bomb push because you do the ledge clip, you side hop, you turn, drop a bomb, back up, and then you angle yourself so that the explosion pushes you out of bounds, and then you have to swim in water physics.
Basically, you pretend like you're in Wind Waker and use bombs to get out of bounds.
Yes.
One thing, if you see the quick kill that Sage is doing there, it's the same one we mentioned previously. You're damaging the Bongo's hitbox before properly loaded into the fight, and so that allows you to just obliterate him without the cutscene starting. One thing to be careful though, you can't go down too quickly, or else you can actually soft lock the game there. I think typically if you hear the damage sound from Bongo, you're safe to jump down at that point.
Yep, so it's better just to wait rather than to go early and then soft lock yourself.
You gotta go fast, but can't go too fast, you know? It's a much less known and much less popular slogan for Sonic.
Alright.
Nagi seems to be going for. There's a glitchless jump you can do here to just straight up jump to the Bosky area, and it skips having to go into. Apparently, there's a room back here. Did you guys know that if you cross to the other side, there's apparently a room there?
I haven't seen it in many, many, many years. They just learned that on the fly from Cubs. Oh, nice!
Oh, nice.
Excellent!
Nice.
Excellent.
Beautifully done.
Another benefit of these bingos is you can ask these questions, and at least one of the people in chat will either have the knowledge to walk you through it. And for this one, it was just a series of inputs that you can take your time and just follow through. Or pull video and troubleshoot it live. So that's also the benefit of these community bingos, is to share the knowledge and learn new things.
And all the DDR players are always super happy to share knowledge of glitches and techniques that they have. So we do encourage you, if you want to learn stuff, you can check out the DDR discussion channel. Also, you can check out the Gameplay and Tricks channel, which has not only DDR players, but also other players from the server who are willing to help out learn tricks as well. At this point, we are getting a lot closer to being finished here. We've got most of the goals at this point have been completed by multiple players. We've got 5 Water Temple keys, the Spear Temple skulls, and the 7 maps are the only goals that are left. We can see here Sage is currently seems to be going for the Water Temple keys. We see Dunmaki seems to be going for the Spear Temple skulls, and it looks like Nagi may be also going for the Water Temple keys. I'm not sure in exactly who's got what in terms of the maps, so not sure who's trying for that one.
Yeah, Nagi may also be looking for a map. I don't know if they have gotten that yet. Oh, that is true. Yeah, they have not.
So the Q shoot, this is a co-op run. So all the players are working together to complete each goal on the board at least twice. They also all have different seeds. They've rolled their own with their own personal settings they wanted to use. So very much not a competition. Typically, the only competition you have in these is who can roll the worst seed. That's usually the competition you have during these.
Yeah, it's not I'd say it's not normal for Randomizer to have a lot of community events, at least restreamed, even though they do occur. So this is something that DDR does on a monthly basis. Bingo is something that needs to be more widely known because it's definitely a new way to play. You can do vanilla bingo or item rando bingo, both of which are fun in their own right. So this is a community bingo with our DDR community. Anyone was welcome to join. If you want to grab the bingo card to play along on your own with your own seed, please feel free to do so. I'll link the race room where you can pull the card from. But ultimately, oh wait, you need the password is in the chat. But ultimately, these are meant to just be cooperative and fun and learn. And we wanted to restream it to provide an opportunity for people to ask questions about the rule set, about tricks, about glitches, about things not related to cars breaking because we're not mechanics. But also provide an open forum for kind of exploring more about the rule set as we approach our first tournament.
Or the ending of the first tournament, we should say, as we are entering bracket stages pretty soon. Basically, once they schedule their matches. It's a good time to mention as well that if you do want to try out some DDR stuff, you can check out the bingo room that's there. You can also check out the DDR async channel in the DDR and the OOTR Discord, which we will link right here. You can check out there. That has a bunch of seeds using our weekly settings, which are not the same as these. That, I think, if you want to check out the weekly settings, you can do this. I think that's actually correct for ours.
Yes, it is. I've updated it.
Perfect. Shiro on top of this pod. So yeah, so if you check out the DDR async channel, it'll have those settings you see there. And those are currently the ones that are being used for the tournament. It's currently ongoing. And I think we mentioned it a couple times, but just to reiterate too, if you did want to try out some randomizer bingo, this board you see here is specifically designed for randomizer. Notably, its goals are designed that they can be completed glitchlessly and that you aren't able to lock yourself out of any goals. If you do want to create boards, you can go to bingosync.com and select the game to be Ocarina of Time. And then there are 3 different boards you can create. There's a normal board that's designed to be completed for you to complete a row. There is a blackout generator, which is the one we use here. It's designed for you to complete the entire board. And then there's a short item randomizer, blackout, that is a 4x4 board instead of a 5x5 board, designed to blackout. Though you can also do rows on that as well.
And looks like of all of Water Temple, Nagi unfortunately has to defeat Morpha for the map.
Feels Batman.
Indeed. Morpha has just been hoarding everything we need.
Morpha actually has Dodge's hookshot.
So, looks like Danmaku did not get all 5 skulls in Spirit Temple, or has not marked it, even though they're defeating Twin Rova.
I don't know. They don't have Song of Time marked, and they don't have hover boots, so I don't know if they can currently grab the one in the wall. Since this is OoT,
Oh, they only have a hook shot too.
I presume there's probably some way to get it, but I don't know of a way myself to get the skull that's behind the Song of Time block with its crew equipment.
Right. Oh yeah, that as well.
It is also something worth mentioning. A lot of times people tend to think of glitches as, their be-all and end-all. It allows you to skip item requirements. That's not really the case. There are still limitations to this game, even though it is, in a lot of senses, Swiss cheese. The items still do have purpose. Like, you see us a lot of times talk about Morpha. Morpha, in order to get there, yes, you can get there without long shot, but you still need hover boots. And so there are still item requirements to do certain tasks. And that's kind of the goal of the DDR rule set, is to balance a lot of the fun glitches that you can do to kind of speed up the game, as well with the idea that you still want the items to have use and utility. And so that's kind of the balance that's designed to be struck in the DDR rule set.
I think Nagi chose very different settings. Compared to the other players. So, like we said earlier, if you want to shuffle everything anywhere, you go for it. It just will take a little bit longer, but they've definitely completed a lot of goals already.
Yeah, the basically one of the few there's only a couple things you have to watch out for. You have to make sure that the maps and compasses are somewhere in the world, so basically you can't remove them. And you have to similarly make sure that the boss keys are in the world. You can't remove those. Those are basically the two major ones. Beyond that, there are very few limitations. Oh, Gerudo card you also have to make sure is in the world as well. So those are the major limitations in terms of settings. Otherwise, you can feel free to put on Skull Sanity or Cow Sanity or Maps anywhere, or Key Sanity anywhere. So lots of options.
So now we have the race for the last goals. Ha, race. It's not really a race. So the last one is all of the spirit skulls. So Nagi may be doing that, since they have come back to spirit. Yeah, Sage is going to wait. Tamaku is probably just going to continue on. I can guarantee Cubs off stream is continuing on, since he tends to black out most of the goals anyway. And
since Sage is done, do we want to switch Sage out with someone else?
Yeah, I'll switch it out with Cubs. We'll see where Cubs is right now. Oh, wait. I'd have to put Dotso back for sound.
We can see if Dotso finds Hookshot, because I guarantee you that's what Dotso's looking for now. Oh, looks like Sage is doing stuff. I'm not sure what Sage is up to.
We'll see where Sage is going.
Is Sage gonna go beat Ganondorf? Maybe.
Maybe?
We have mentioned it a couple times, but just to reiterate, for Bingo, you generally don't have to beat Ganon at the end. The goal is typically just to complete the goals that are on the Bingo board. They don't add extra afterwards. But if you want to, there's nothing stopping you from going to beat Ganondorf.
What is Sage doing? We gonna show off tricks? We like tricks and glitches.
I have the wrong sword equipped.
One thing that does matter is if you use the Begoran sword or Giant's knife, it does affect setup, so knowing which sword to use is important. Oops. Nope. I guess Sage is trying to do a version of like Trials skip.
Maybe? Meanwhile, we see Danmaku is going through Forest Temple. I don't know if that's looking for more items, or... Because I think, like, most of our players would still need some way to get that skull that's behind the Song of Time block. That usually either means hover boots or Song of Time itself.
So it looks like Sage did get out of bounds. Oh, no.
And then back in bounds.
Back in bounds. I guess I'm gonna swap out Nagi and Danmaku for Cubs and Dotso. And see where they are at.
We're going for a super slide.
And Dotso's paused. Whoa!
Now for Trippy.
Oh, we finished! Yay!
GG.
So that, I guess, GG. I guess that means that Dotso was the one that finished. So nice, everyone's finishing. So I will go to our interview screen. And music probably gonna be really loud. Let me turn it down.
Turn down for what?
Yep.
Meanwhile, we get Trippy Lake.
I'll have to see if anyone wants to come in to talk for a minute or two. A hookshot, skull mask, and spirit statue. Oh, you forgot spirit statue hand. Wow.
Wait,
Rip.
like the one on the inside? Where you play the song of Zelda's Lullaby?
Yeah, the
That's
ZL
a big
hands.
oof. That's a big oof.
Whoopsies. So looks like everyone got done. Yay! So 3:12:48. And I'll wait to see. Sage did say that they'll come in for a minute or two to talk about, and looks like we have Dotso. Hello, Dotso. Now you can actually speak live instead of typing.
Instead of quintuple tasking? I don't know.
Dude, my second monitor is just a complete disaster.
Worth. Alright, let me bring in Sage. If my oh my god, computer. There we go. Hello, Sage. GG.
Hi. Hello.
How was that?
That was fun. I had a lot of items early, so it's pretty breezy.
I think we noticed it. You weren't on Restream at that point, but we noticed you clicked like the long shot square within like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I had a hint for one. It was like one of the Deku Tree hints. It was in Inside Ganon's, and then I just happened to do Bombchu Bowling before I went adult, and that had one. So I had them very quickly. Unlike Dotso, who did not.
My ice hammers were on wax. Oh my god.
Nice. So Cub said that he'll be joining. Where are your other two compatriots? Are they going to join as well?
I don't know if they saw in the race room.
I think Nagi said he had to go somewhere. He had to be gone, so I don't think he's coming.
Aw, okay. But Dato informed us that Nagi learned the I guess the hover bootless jump to the water boss key live. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But we were trying to shuffle in everyone at the same time, and that was conveniently we had them on stream while they had done that. Hi Cubs, GG.
Thank you.
We was just saying that you taught Nagi how to do the hover bootless strat to water boss key, and they did it live. That was great.
I won a race. I'm proud of myself. I mean, what?
You were the first one to done. Shame it's not going to be recorded.
Yeah, too bad it wasn't in the DDR category.
I'm just sad you missed me buying like 4 shields. I kept.
Oh yeah, I
burning-
think he
yeah.
kept burning his shields.
I burned my deck
Yeah.
shield a couple times. I had to go rebuy it.
We did say that. Yes, indeed.
Also, the rare child DC. Oh, that's something
That
I
was
have
also
not done.
seen.
I haven't done that in a long time.
And then also I did get a message from Tamaku who's going to be joining. So I'll pull them in right now. GG! Hello!
Hello, thank you.
GG's.
That was fun.
Well, that's the whole intent. We're meant to have fun with this. And then a lot of people in chat were like, Zooter and fun? Does that exist? It does exist. Usually only in bingos. Not in racing.
Very rarely, you can sometimes find it randomized throughout the world. You have to make sure to have that setting turned on, though. Randomized fun in the world.
Fun is never in logic.
Yeah, fun is not in logic. Neither are hook shots.
Especially if your name's Dotso.
I was quite enjoying the fact that it was a goal for a long shot.
Overall, I mean, the board was not that bad. What did you guys think of the board?
Like 5 minutes in, I think 3 people said the board was terrible.
Wow.
You didn't have Frogs 2 on there though, so that's good.
There was no kitties. There was no Greg.
There were a million unique items though.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
6 unique item squares.
So
7 if you
often
counted 3 swords.
Ice arrows.
Yeah, and then
Lord.
Sage getting long shot in the first 5 minutes.
Golden scale.
I had my hints for
Roar's
him.
win.
I couldn't get to him yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we all got
Thankfully-
Aurora's win.
Thankfully, with this number of players, the unique items tend to be less vintage too, because someone's likely to find them. Solo, this would have been terrible.
Oh, yes. 100%. 100%. But yeah, we've spent the majority of the restream swapping everyone out, talking about all of the tricks and glitches that we've seen, me getting yelled at by multiple people for explaining things wrong, and technical issues. But overall, it was fun to have, I think, the first item randomizer bingo being restreamed. We have restreamed Vanilla Bingo quite a couple of times through their multiple tournaments, but item randomizer is a new variant that not a lot of people get to see.
And it's definitely a fun way to spice up the game instead of just always having to beat Ganondorf. You don't know what you're going to be doing until you reveal the card.
Yeah, I do like the cooperative element of it. You're not against anybody. You're working together. It's kind of nice.
Nice to not be concerned about the timer for once.
Yes, that indeed. Well, I guess if everyone is already zooted out from all those unique items, are there any final thoughts? And we will raid ZSR 4 because it is a very, very packed schedule today on ZSR, who are doing an Majora's Mask Randomizer qualifier for their second tournament.
Nothing.
Nah,
Got nothing.
I guess
too
you're all
tired.
burnt out from the seat.
yeah, we haven't done one of those in a while, so it was just kind of fun.
Hashtag free equip swap, that's all.
Oh yes, please.
And also, good luck to those here that are part of the DDR tournament. We have mentioned it a couple times. We got a couple of people here that are in brackets, so good luck to everyone. Hope you all have fun, and don't hate us too much by the end of it.
I
Don't
could
have dots or
never.
roll seed.
Yeah, clearly don't have dots.
roll my own seeds because the clip checks don't exist.
So I linked the schedule for the tournament. Stay tuned. We will try to announce them in the OOTR Discord, specifically in DDR S1 announcements channel. They will hopefully show up on the ZSR Discord if we are able to restream any of them as they pop up. But at a very minimum, we will do our best to do the winners bracket finals and the semifinals and finals of the tournament. With only 10 players, that will probably happen quickly, because all of us are also super eager to start all of our races since no one has messaged scheduling channel to start a race, which I may, I guess, do later today since I'm one of the first ones. But with that, thank you everyone for participating in this bingo. We were happy to see some new faces, and we hope that everyone had fun and enjoyed. And if you're interested in joining these community bingos, please grab the DDR roll from the roll assignment channel, and RandoBot will give you the DDR roll that is pingable, and you'll be notified for our next events. So I will thank my co-commentator Dobby for keeping me on pace and sane for 3 or so hours. So thank you for joining with me on this adventure, and Trez for the technical difficulty resolution. So everyone blame Trez, but thank you very much for solving why the bingo card was showing 7 different bottle contents, which would not have been easy to do in a randomizer. Possible.
Is that left over from the last bingo race we did?
Yes, it was. Indeed.
Just SRM them. Easy.
Nice.
We did get a question about how to SRM, and then we're like, well, it's not allowed in rule set, but we can explain it. Quip swap, maybe. TBD.
SRM, not a chance.
SRM, not a chance. With that, I guess I will thank everyone for spending some time with us this morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is in your time zone. And we will go send some love to ZSR 4 for MMR Qual. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Thank you.
GG, all.